turn it all out, told me every secret. Said that I care, asked do you mean it? It's been months since we've been okay. I'm putting off what's coming. Another night staring at the ceiling. You deserve to be alone, to be the one they're always thinking of. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you. Admit that I ignored it. You deserve to be alone. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be struggling 'cause I'm all you had. You should know that's all in your head. 'Cause it's been weeks and you're not okay. You're putting off what's coming. It's alright to be scared of being lonely. Don't you know that you deserve to be alone? To be the one they're always thinking of. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you. Admit that I ignored it. You deserve to be alone. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be. Tell me, is it clear that I still wanna be? I see you denying, but I know that I made it clear. I want you to know that I'll be close through the darkest. When the skies getting bright, I'll hold you and never let you go. When you're falling, I'll be closer.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. Hope everybody is having a wonderful, beautiful day. Boys, I just forgot that I needed to get the fan up and running. I'm so sorry about it every single time, dude. Oh my goodness. How you boys all doing? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, beautiful evening, though. Oh, let me actually, no, I've already changed it. It's not as loud anymore. Let's go, boys. How y'all doing? Welcome back. Oh my goodness, we are back this time in the region of NA. Yesterday we had ourselves some fantastic duels over in the EU. Alright, hi to my man Pedro, Brago, Jay Everett, Malachi. How you boys all doing? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, beautiful evening, boys. We got ourselves an exciting week this week as well. Blizz, you can make this week even better by just giving us some big class changes. Just give us some tuning, man. If you're not gonna be giving us tuning for like 10.1.7 specifically, tune our classes, man. Give us more viable stuff to play for Mythic Pluses and PvP, man. Fix the PvP brackets with the MMR stuff, dude. Come on, Bliss. We know you can do it. We know you can actually get it done this week. Yo, Dal, can you get banned for a false report? I'm doing a solo queue and someone reported me for throwing games. Can somebody get banned for false reports? I imagine, yeah. That or like, I also imagine if, let's say somebody does end up abusing the report system, I would hope that there's measures in the game where if, let's say, somebody just like spam reports just because like they're bitter. Wait, what? Why am I getting hit by social contract again? Let's go down social contract. Did they update it or something? Hi, Traveler. Why does it do best to connect with players? I don't know why it gave it to me again. That was weird. I usually have it accepted. Did they adjust it? Did they change something about it? So reported in full support. I do wonder if you can do that. Huh. I do hope, like, let's say there's somebody out there that's bitter, right? Let's say you're blasting it out in a solo queue, and everybody that's upset at you are like, oh my god, this guy, look at him, how dare he go for 6-0, right? Let's say like if that happens, I do hope they have measures in place where, let's say, like, they frivolously report, and some people that just frivolously report for no reason, I do hope they like maybe mark their account as like, okay, the reports are lower in value just because they throw it out to everybody, and you know what I mean? So like, or something along those lines. I do hope somebody at least looks at it, and I do hope that you just don't have like an automation where just enough people need to report them and that's it, you get sniped out of the way, you know what I mean? I do hope there's actual like validity to it all, you know what I mean? But that's just a hope, man. I'm just hoping out here. Oh my goodness, yo, let's get ourselves some 5V5 1v1 up and running, boys. So Chicago apparently already got a group forming. You can see him right here. Already got a group with Seavark as well. I'm gonna start making a second one unless Night King's already putting one together. But we're gonna get ourselves a group going. Chicago and me got a group up and running. You guys are more than welcome to join it. Let me see if I can post exactly how to join the 5V5 1v1 duel groups. Yeah. What I want to put this is it's important links go here, I think, and I'll do it right here. Here we go. How to join. How to join. Join. There we go. Bam. Beautiful. Malachi, I got one up on LFG. Just join mine or join Chicago. We'll join one of the boys that's already active because I got one up and running right now. Makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, groups are up right now if you guys want to join them in LFG. Friends who have been banned and spam reports were quickly unbanned after contacting support. Yeah, I do hope that maybe like, I think, let's say if there is somebody out there, right, say running around, let's say their character is bugged and they're literally walking around and they just Thanosing people out of the game, right? Maybe they figured out an exploit. I do hope with enough reports, like you could just kind of like at least stop them from being able to do that. You know what I mean? Put their character in like some kind of a lockdown for a second. Nike get a 5-man? Okay. Yo, I think you may need to join Chicago. Apparently, Night King or Chilled got 5 ready. If Chicago gets 5, we good to go. Watch it be that Night King and join Chicago and see where I can all them other boys, man. What's up, Lisa? How you doing, my guy? Hope you're having a good one. Yeah, I do hope that I just hope it's not completely ran by automations, and I do hope there's a real person. Take a look at every single one of the reports fairly quickly, right? I feel like that's the only way you maintain like an actual good social contract and like the reports and stuff actually get validity. I would be really disappointed to know if it's just like, you know what, no one actually looks at it. But it's good to hear that, like, if you put it in a ticket, somebody looks at it. I just hope, like, somebody took a look at it as soon as the report opens, right? Hopefully somebody's out there like, oh, somebody's already got sniped. Let me immediately start investigating why they got automatically sniped. Because I feel like those are the ones that probably should get taken care of as soon as possible. You know, tickets for sure, but if somebody got instant sniped, double check, make sure it's like there's a bunch of people abusing the system, you know what I mean? That's what I like to see, man. Chill needs still 1. Perfect. Let's get him +1 in there. And Chat Hunt can maybe join him. But Chill said he's got 5. I don't know if he's trying to get together with Chicago, though. Boris got 3 out of 5. Oh my god, you guys are making my job so easy tonight. All right, I'm going to list my groups since we got some up and running, man. You can ask Shout Hunt to join my group. So we got one with Tane, Conan, Chicago, Seavark. Night King is back up to 5. Chicago needs an Omasa. Boris needs an extra one. Where do you have yours listed, Boris, by the way? How you doing? Hope you're having a good one. Where's your group listed? Let me get the fan up and running because it looks like we'll be able to get the duels in here fairly quickly. And Chicago got a 5-minute. Let's go, dude. Oh my God. Chat Hunt. Join Boris. I don't know where he's at, but I can maybe get him in here. I'm in Chicago? Okay, cool. That sounds good. I'm gonna see what Boris got is listed. I thought it was gonna be wrong. Team activity wrong. It's hard chills. All good. Let me get the fan up and running, boys. Yeah? Done real quick. Oh man. Also, I don't have any good shirts, so I'm just wearing this like button shirt that has like a bit more of a prominent I guess V-neck or whatever. It feels weird, man. I like my V-necks, but this one just feels like a little too exposed, you know what I mean? My goodness, dude. My goodness. Dude, I've been drinking so much water and I still feel like my throat is dry. I don't know what it is. I think it's just lack of sleep. Last night was a long night. Night before that, oh my God, not much better than that. Raids Legacy right now, custom PvE. Okay, so we got a group. Wait, or Raids Legacy 5. What do you? Is it in the Shadowlands, maybe? Yeah, so we got a group right now. Reflex coming back in the way, my man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we got a group right now in Raids Legacy. If you guys want to join, Boris is waiting. He's got 2 more spots. If you guys want to join, that'll be the time, man, because you are Dalaran, dude. I'll try to slow down just for you, Justice, okay? I will try my best. I promise him. I'm gonna try to just talk like a normal human being, slow down a little bit, but yeah, my guy, if it gets exciting in the duels, what can you do, man? My go, 5V5 1. Hey, got a group right up in Raids Legacy. 5V5 1v1 Duels. If you join, they got 2 more spots. All right, let's get a group up and running real quickly since we got Chicago and we got Night King ready. Boris got himself a 3-man, probably a 4-man with Nars trying to see if he can join up. We'll get one game rolling right now, and we'll get you boys up and running right afterwards. Now, if I can only... Night King. Okay, I think I spelled it right. That's the thing, is like every time I think I spelled something right, I look back and I'm like, that's usually what gets me. Every single time I try to queue for duels and it just doesn't work, I got someone's names wrong, man. That's just what happens. When you struggle to slow your speech down, you sound like you're drunk. True. I really do need to slow down. It's just like when there's Seaver played Outlaw. What is this? Hold on a second. When the hell are you doing? 5% buff and Seaver pops over here, not an arcade mage, but not an outlaw rogue? What is happening? We got Diabolical back in here. Beautiful. Oh, I like the variety we got tonight. Let me get my mix up and running, man. Oh my goodness. Why do we have double out? You know what? Much better than double subtlety. I'm not gonna lie. I'm interested. My curiosity you had my curiosity, but now you got my attention. Let me get some 5-5s up and running here, yeah? Let me also fix the... Oh god, you see that? You see how like frame droppy that is? As soon as I click in, it's like it's some frame drop stuff I gotta adjust every single time we do this. So Twitch, we got ourselves 5-5 1v1 duels with Barrel win over the team 1 on the team. We got Chupils leading the charge for the team, putting together the killers of Diabolical. Oh, not a gnome. That is so weird. We got ourselves Light Messiah, Jody Beckett, as well as Psycho. Got himself eyes, scouting to see if there's a rogue nearby. But instead of a rogue, it's just Hunter with Chat Hunt gonna be first on the approach. In the back, we got ourselves Conan Seawarks over on a war. Over in the frame set, we got ourselves Bones of Steel with Chicago waiting their turn. Gonna be an opener by Chupils as he's trying to surround Chat Hunt with the army of the undead, but he's also doing the same with the pets. It's gonna be Basil's joining in as well. It's gonna be Chat Hunt dropping in a trap, but man actually doesn't got much help to work with. It's not gonna be Big Execute right now. Chupils just looking to take him out fairly quickly, clawing into the man's soul, ripping it out of his body to claim later on, just using that as a harvest for his own weapon. Gonna be Conan jumping back in with a reflect immediately as the whole army of the undead is still in play, still getting quite a bit of value. Chupils them is kind of down on cooldowns for a good bit, unless you actually defensively too. I didn't realize he spent even an IBF into the Hunter, but he's trying to be, I guess, pretty proactive with these things. The faster you use some of your defensive cooldowns, the faster you're going to be able to get him back in for the next competitor. Conan buying himself a bit of time. Grip as a charge comes out simultaneously. Going to be a zombie swapping in on the side. Going to be Chillpiz playing into the bargain build instead of the necromancer bargain, putting a dot onto Conan, summoning up and Mages of the Dead. So he's actually going to be able to use the Apocalypse ability far more often for the bursty element rather than for the summoning element of it. Stun onto Conan, does go for a big defensive shield, might actually want to back up out of the chain of ice. Is going to be your best friend. Conan does catch a quick intervene towards Chillpiz, stuns him, does go into defensive stance, trying to see if he can maximize his self-healing while also reducing the damage he's taken. Chillpiz summoning up yet another Mages of the Dead, summoning up a fresh new ghoul, gonna go for an interrupt versus Conan, just to make sure nothing important is spell reflected back, as the death that he's taking quite a bit of damage though. Got himself the swarm, plenty of shadow damage building up, disarm for just a second, still able to spam out death goals over at Conan as he does go in for a shockwave. Might actually have Chillpiz in an execute range, but that's gonna be Conan also in the execute range, trying to see if he can survive it. Conan doesn't really have much to work with. What is a death goal at the end? Honestly, I did not think that was going to be a big finisher kill at the very end there. But that's exactly what we got. Double ambush on the Chillpiz. Immediate blind as he throws the sleet into the rogue's eyes, trying to see if he can buy himself a little bit of a breather as a rogue, encapsulated by the undead. So looks like he's just going to end up focusing down for a little bit, trying to get him step onto Chillpiz. Almost avoids it entirely. IBF, it's going to be Cloak of Shadows immediately by the rogue. Stun goes through either way though, doesn't even matter. Going to be that IBF holding on strong as he's going to go for a killing spree, trying to see if he can maybe blast out just enough damage into Chillpiz to keep the pressure rolling. Pistol shots are breaking past the armor, actually just drilling holes into Chillpiz, just turning the man into Swiss cheese with those gunshots. It's going to be an ambush at the very end as the rogue does end up capitalizing and getting himself a quick little win versus Chillpiz. The outlaw rogue with a physical damage does end up puncturing past the Death Knights fairly well. This is going to be Bones catching himself almost a reset. But instead, Blessing of Protection out of Light Messiah. What is going on here? The man did not want to get... I guess he just doesn't have a trinket, does he? I guess a sap. He wanted to probably use a big immunity, but Bones is still able to avoid him. Does he have any more diseases rolling on him? No, able to go in for an ambush immediately onto Light. Got himself a slice and dice rolling, as it's going to be a big burst out of Light. Not playing the Crusade build, but every single minute is going to be fairly deadly. Not the biggest nuke you could ever have with the Crusade playstyle, but the normal plain wings, the Avenging Wrath wings, they're just as effective, and then even more effective against certain other classes. And I think against a rogue, who actually might be pretty good, just because, like, as long as you don't have a class that has a big 2-minute cooldown that can just hard counter those wings, which is not a lot of classes, but a handful of them do. Rogue does have those big immunity abilities, in fact. Cloak of Shadows together with a disarm, potentially invasion, vanish as well, can always bail out of him. So for Light Messiah, having wings, more uptime, more usage of him, will actually end up kind of trading cooldowns with the rogue, and hopefully will end up helping him squeak out of victories. Shield of Vengeance is up, stun onto the rogue really quick, vanish to follow, does end up diving away. Is a slow on the rogue, is going to be also Spore Cloak activating. Shield of Vengeance does get the rogue out last second. Kidney Shot is going to be a human racial out of Light Messiah, trying to see if he can get himself a little bit more survivability here. Final wreck right now onto the rogue. Cloak of Shadows is up, giving him a little bit of that survivability. Bones still needs someone right now to live. This Light Messiah also needs the stun to lock down the rogue. Massive grapple hook, able to bail out of the big hammers flying in. Bones needs someone right now, otherwise it's going to be cheat death. There goes the cheat death. The man does not have much to really work with here. Standing at Consecration, Hammer's attacking him, able to get swings though of auto attacks through the wall into Light Messiah with crippling poison, slowing him down. Stun is gonna lock him down, smashing the rogue's head open, and it's gonna be Chicago charging up next. The rogue tried his very best. At that point, I don't even know what you could have done. You do have Dance going back up, so maybe could have went Dance cheap shot with a gouge off of that. Maybe, but it is just a rough one. Chicago charging out. Light Messiah is still holding on to a bubble, so he's got himself a big immunity, so he might be able to maintain himself either way though. Chicago sending out the wolves. I do find it weird that Chicago's not a Draenei anymore. I mean, Oracle's good, don't get me wrong, but I do miss that Draenei. Into a blind onto Chicago. Does go in for the second blind. Next few attacks to Chicago, just gonna miss instead. Even if you do miss, Burrow to follow. At least he's able to hide away from those wings. That's a lot of damage altogether. Big Thunderbird is It's going to be bubble out of the Paladin. Looking to end Chicago right now. Wall, maybe. Is it going to be enough? Chicago may need even more defenses. It's going to be the Spore Cloak activating, granting him a bit of a shield just for that sake of survivability. Light Messiah kind of low on health. Needs a lay on hands right now, but I think it's over. I think the last of might just have him. Wrangle him back. Wait, lay on hands. Do you have it? Trying to catch up a little bit of healing. Does he use? No, it looks like Forbearance was on him for a little bit longer. Lay on hands would have been amazing just there. And it's gonna be Borrowing up next. Is he giving Chicago a bit of an honor though? Sword of Kite? No. No, instead actually activating full cooldown. Chicago is at least aware that Zoen is active. There is full cooldowns on a Borrowing as well. If you can somehow avoid this monkey, it will be golden, but that's going to be Alexia blocking him down. Full burst right there with a Fist of Fury. Looking to go for a big kick. Disarm instead. Chicago just needs to play this super passively. They do have Guardian coming back up, so you want to maximize damage and self-healing during that Guardian to hopefully give you a little bit of that survivability. Big, what is that kick? Hold on a second, I haven't seen that PvP challenge used at all. Mad damage under the monk. Does he even survive this? It's going to be huge damage by Chicago with a lightning lassos. Barwin got nothing left. Is this going to be one? Oh my god, the zap. Oh my goodness. Just turning it around on the guy out of left field. With Saikoru going to be up next. Looks like trying to give Chicago a bit of an honor duel. And Chicago is going to take it. Oh, never mind. Saikoru, he's kind of like charging at Chicago. It looked like he was walking in Chicago to give him honor duel. Chicago rushed out. So Saikoru probably thought, oh, we're going? Chicago probably wanted to combine just to give him a bow as fast as possible. Next time, approach him slowly because you never really know what they're thinking. Chicago might be in a bit of trouble here. Sunder does not connect. Demon chasing after Saikuru. Able to explode at any moment. Gonna be a stun onto Chicago. Does pre-wall this damage. Still has Guardian for a little bit longer. At least should be able to trap up Saikuru in that totem together with the root totem on top of it. Saikuru can't really reconnect. Chicago trying to burn some heals, but doesn't have the Maelstrom for it. Has the mana, but needs the Maelstrom in order to amplify the value of those heals. But at this point, you kind of just have to send it. Stun around the corner. It is going to be a knockback on that Ivan, which is perfect for Chicago. Light and last of force and trick it out of Saikuru, and Chicago is still under a ton of threat. That's going to be the Burrow together with the what is it, the Spore Cloak. Does pick up a little bit of healing with Maelstrom, but still not out of the woods just yet. At this point, I don't really know what you can do. I think you need Maelstrom. You have to get in there, maybe use a stun. Sunder does not quite connect, does have himself quite a bit of damage. The Chicago picking up a little bit of Maelstrom, just a hair bit of Maelstrom. Sending out the Ghostos, which is going to end up helping out a ton. Stun onto the Shaman, Trinket to follow Saikuru, going for a Blade Dance. Bad! Oh! What was that? Just turned around. I didn't even notice the Ascendants, but turned around on the left field. Oh my goodness, so far Chicago has just been going with a big old, not even a haymaker, just letting it sneak up on you and then landing those big crits. Mortical sent in on Chicago immediately. Diabolical sent in with a massive meatball of just fire cascading over towards Chicago. That is just a ton of damage. Chicago having to deal with a succubus as well. It's a lot of CC. Portals open right around the corner. Bonza fell. Not going to feel great unless you have someone right here. Can't move at all. Does drop down, I think, what looks like a grounding totem. Trying to see if he can remove some of those portals away. Boarded over to the side of the pillar. Actually, not the worst place to be in. Tried to drop down totem onto Diabolicus. At least trapping him in place. Going for a big Sunder, but may need more Maelstrom right now. Wall has Guardian coming up very soon, but decided, you know what, I'm gonna bail out of here, catch up a little bit of healing. At least has the Guardian to attack. You should be using Guardian of your own as best as you can though. Until Succubus CC, I think it's over, right? Unless you somehow live in Chaos Mode, barely alive. Oh my goodness, Chicago almost brought it back for their team. Well done, well done. Oh my goodness, C-Mark is the last one left though. Oh, I like the Mog. I do like the whole set. Sap and the Succubus does give you a little bit of an advantage there, doesn't it? Cheap shot onto Diabolicus, going for back-to-back ambushes with an Adrenaline Rush, just kind of going for more of a slower play versus Diabolicus. We'll need to go for a next Kidney Shot. Honestly, may want to Kidney Shot the Succubus or gouge the Succubus. It does go for a Shadow Step on the Mortical if you were to follow Soulfire. Actually, Line of Sight maybe? Oh no, this is the stun. Does go for the Trinket. Shadow Meld. Oh, with a grapple hook right after. Still, even though you're able to avoid the big meatball coming at you with a Shadow Meld, you still, it looks like, got hit by an immolation either way though, which is unfortunate. Which is going to put you just out in combat. You need to be very careful with Succubus. Immediately see on the Kidney Shot, which is super unfortunate. Try to use the mobility in order to close the gap. Go into a Cloak of Shadows just to maintain the pressure onto Diabolicus. Not let him go anywhere. Diabolicus does pick up a little bit of health, summoning up even more gateways to keep Seawork pressured as best as possible. Is going to swap up for a couple of ambushes onto the pet, trying to see if he can get himself a bit of damage. Freshly, Succubus is getting to join in for Diabolicals, so he's actually perfectly fine. He does have some defense to come back up as well. Seawork maybe can get a sap on the Succubus, looking for it, trying for it, doesn't get to. That is going to be Succubus with an Invis Blade Flare for just a second. More to call immediately before he can even get anything set up on the Succubus Sphere right after. At this point, you got to make the choice. Do you chase after the Warlock, or do you chase after the Succubus? Blinding the Succubus may be in a bad spot, trying to see if we can get some calm points off of it. Succubus may go for a Seduce, might not be the great free evasion to follow. Mad damage by Diabolicals though. I think that was just a stray Chaos Ball flying from a gateway. Does have evasion. Succubus stops here. I think it's over, right? Cheat death? Unless, maybe, oh my goodness, dude, the Destro versus Outlaw. That's Succubus's MVP. Seaver did pop in out of nowhere. 4 million healing, 3 million damage, almost like perfectly 3 million or 4 million. But the damage though out of left field, didn't get a single proc. Yeah, honestly, happens. Honestly, sometimes be like that. That's Outlaw, man. Sometimes you get really good buffs and other times not really. A pistol shot, yeah. If you get a lot of them, that's a lot of comp points you're just churning out. Building, spending, and that helps a ton. My goodness. Who else we got? With Chicago, lost Seawork. I think Seawork could just swap it over to a different character. Unless Seawork is gone for the night. How you doing, by the way, my man? Hope you're doing good. Hope the whole PC thing is hopefully a little bit better on your end. Or at least, like, you got a plan of what you're going to be doing. From what I understood, because I didn't get the full details on Twitter, but basically your PC killed over, right? And you also had some expenses around the same time that it happened, so it was just like, oh, unfortunate. That could have been the money to like fix it or whatever. Yeah, that's unfortunate, my guy. Hopefully, you know, everything goes works out pretty well at the end. Motherboard is after 20% of PC working, 80% doesn't make it work. Okay, alrighty, that's rough, man. That's rough. Need more? Of course, always. We're set now. Cool. So Boris is ready. Chicago got 5. Night King, how many do you got? If you got a 5-man right now, then we'll just have you in Chicago. Because I don't want to get Boris since you got a new team. But we'll just have like Chicago and Night King chilled. Roll or coin flip to see which one goes first. What's up, nerds? My monks ready to fall apart, so I'm taking a break till 10-2 available. What's up, Wolf of Vice? Hell yeah, my man. Dude, now's a good time to take a break. Play some Baldur's Gate, dude. You got what's that Bethesda game? Starfield coming out, right? Play whatever games you have in the Steam library. Like, that was a good time to just chill, man. Honestly, PTR's around mid-late September. I mean, with the Gamescom coming out, they'll probably even put up some new info on 10-2, hopefully with Gamescom. And honestly, like with 10.1.7 being kind of late on class changes, I'm hoping to put this thing on PTR very, very soon. I'm excited to see what they can do because it's a new patch, big major content update would be perfect. So Night King and Chicago both a 5. Let me do a quick roll for you guys, just a coin flip. Alrighty, hold on a second. I'm gonna do a real one. Alrighty, so what do we do? Head, tails. Let's do Chillfills as tails. Just because the Death Knights, especially Frost DK, have had the tails end of changes so far. Alright, just to make it easier. And it's tails it is. So Chicago, your team will get a chance to play in just a second. I'm just gonna do Night King versus Boris real quickly, and we'll probably do Boris again versus Night King, Boris, and then we'll do Boris versus Chicago, I think, right after. So just hang tight. We're gonna get you guys back in here as soon as possible. I'm gonna do Blade's Edge off the bat. I know you guys sometimes hate Blade's Edge, but we're gonna do Blade's Edge real quickly just to get it out of the way. Don't gotta worry about nothing. So Chicago, tell your team, stick around, because we're gonna be doing more. You just gotta wait. We're gonna do a quick one of Chilled versus Boris, and we'll get you guys back in, I think, versus Boris right after. Oh, DJ Flex, my man, how you doing? Oh my god, we've had some Survival Hunters going back in for these. Let's go. I'm playing BG3 a bit, dude. So fun, man. Mostly got to do classwork next 2 weeks though. Then whole life BG3 for like a month, bro. It is so good. My god, I'm in Act 3, and it's like so far I felt like the game is overwhelming. There's already a lot, but then it just picks up and scales up in Act 3. It just gets even more overwhelming, man. There's a lot going on. It is crazy good. Switch. We got ourselves borrowing over for the team one, ready to go on the team of Chill Pills, who's going back to the Frosty Roots with a massive mace. It looks fantastic. Hopefully the damage will match the maze, though. We got some Diabolicals. We got Light Messiah. Looks like potentially first up, and Saikuru in the back. Bloodlust over for the team two, ready to go. I like this classic Orc Warrior look, by the way. DJ Flex making a return to Survival Hunt. It looks like first up off the bat, Katarina waiting their turn. Mommy Waifu, what a name. I like it, as a marksman with Sakura. What is that? It looks so good. Oh, that's a good set. Light Messiah first up versus DJ Flex. A little bit of bows and a missed dose last second. Light Messiah sticking more with his Vengeance Wrath guns, not going for the big crusade. Big burst out of DJ Flex, but maybe biting off more than he can chew, as it's going to be mad damage by Light Messiah. Disarm for a second. Gonna go for a quick blind onto DJ Flex. Not gonna let him get any kind of hits. Gonna be a turtle shell for DJ, since he can't attack Light Messiah anyway. Trying to see if he can go for a little bit of self heal, but looks like something disrupts at the end of the day. Light Messiah trying to see if he can back up out of there. DJ Flex, I feel like this is where you want to pressure with any ranged abilities you got versus Light Messiah. Right now is the time to just pressure the guy and make sure your pet is plenty healthy, plenty safe, but you want to make sure to keep him slow. Does pop a slow from a distance, throwing in the grenades. Light Messiah trying to use the bridge to get himself some cover as he's trying to close the gap with DJ, but it's going to give him opportunities for that manic advantage. I feel like you got to catch him as soon as he's on the approachment. Hit him with the slows, hit him with all the traps, everything you need, but it looks like he's actually just going to reset, go for a full camo, just get himself complete redo. Maybe wait for a stun. Trinket was used really early on too, so was for Light Messiah. Freezing trap right around the corner as he gets tagged up though, which is kind of unfortunate for DJ Flex. Will not be able to really use that for like DRs and whatnot. Stun around the corner. Light Messiah does not have an answer. It is going to be a wall immediately, as is a death shocker spinning right through him. Disarm for a second, but Chill Defenders together with wings is going to give him quite a bit of pressure. Freezing trap does it, break it out of it somehow. I'm not even sure how that happened. DJ not in great and hell. Fade down the last second, barely surviving that last hit, but he's not in a good spot. Oh my goodness, Light Messiah just walking by and just lopping the dude's head off with Sakura gonna be up next. Big Fist Fury in the opener, got himself Big Serenity, locking down Light Messiah. Zuen joining in, does go for the trinket, maybe a little early, as it's gonna be immediate blinding light by Light Messiah. A Searing Light, but it basically makes the monk miss the next four all attacks for the next 4 seconds. Stun onto Sakuna. May want to go for a karma right here. Light Messiah no longer has a bubble. He has a blessing of protection, so at least one immunity. If you're careful, you may be able to still use that karma for it, or use karma to force Bob. Reset, catch yourself a bit of healing. Could be good for you. Sakuna try to go for a Fist of Fury. Blessing of protection comes out really early. You just gotta live it and then go for the karma, and then there's not much Light Messiah can do, but you gotta live. Oh, while the immunity is up, the Paladin just keeps slamming Big Templars into the Monk's Bloodlust with a Stormbolt onto Light Messiah. Big bleed, got himself the banner. Wither of Light needs to use everything he can to live this. Shield of Vengeance, he's got a massive bleed. The man needs as much recovery as possible. Stun onto the to Warrior for just a second. You need to pop a slow on the guy and try to see if you can disconnect. Big lay on hands to give him a little bit more survivability. Full wings at the ready, so you might be able to stabilize here. As long as you're very, very careful with your resources and you play more defensively than aggressively, you might be okay. Bloodlust does not have any ways to heal. Got himself a reflect. Stun onto Light Messiah, does not have a way out of the stun. Still needs to stabilize here. Big parry up for the Warrior. This is his last bastion of defense. Light Messiah needs someone right now. Could maybe go counter offensive. Potentially Big Executes to follow. Does go for a stun. Looking for a bit of a reset. Needs something right now. Otherwise he's in a lot of trouble. Bloodlust needs to reconnect. He's got him on the ropes. Big leap over. Looking for the Execute. Does try to get him blind to follow. Light Messiah, I don't know if he's got anything at all left. Trying to go for Glare. Does it connect? No, I think it might. Oh, you probably should have still let it happen. You should have sent it. I think he was trying to see if he could get maybe parried or interrupted on it, but maybe should have just sent it. Maybe should have just trusted the light, man. Just trusted the light. That was so close. But the Paladin swapping from a Crusade build to a normal Avenging Wrath does give you a little bit of that longevity, does give you quite a bit of burst, just not like a massive one-shot nuke burst. Did Bloodlust run Second Wind? It looked like he was trying to get away from Diabolicals, wait out something, but maybe there was still a dot kind of harassing him, not letting him catch a bit of a reheal. But fighting a Succubus, able to catch up at least an impending victory or two. We'll need to find a way to approach Diabolical in the best way possible. That is a Warlock with a lot of CC, so if you can plant a banner at a right time, you can remove a lot of it. That is a lot of mobility for the Warlock too. Hitting you with the curses immediately, Stone Bolt off the bat. You need to be careful with the Succubus though. If you could pre-blaze storm the Succubus CC, I think it would be in a golden spot. Soulfire, I don't know if you can really do anything about it. Got himself Reflect, try to see if you can charge out, at least using the Spell Reflect to reduce some of the magic damage, but Diabolica's just able to sprint away from you. Look at him go, unable to get slowed. Massive bolts of chaos flying from every portal with a chaos bolt. Try to see if you can dodge it. Still lets a chaos bolt fly either way though. I don't even know how that happened, but the Succubus assaulting you from the left hand side as you just don't have any ways to heal right now. It needs to find a way to break away from combat into a trinket off of that Succubus CC. Reflect up really early. Bonza fell, but you're setting next to an Infernal. You want to break it, gonna go for a parry. Try to see if that'll give you enough survivability. It's gonna get ported, but still staying on top of the platform, cannot really evade Diabolical's or his demonic companions. Diabolical got himself a fantastic spot. I don't know how Bloodlust is going to do it. He needs to get himself the big bleed again onto Dia. I think that's what he needs to do, is bleed out the Warlock as best as possible. If you can Spell Reflect like a Mortal, that'd be great. Into a Succubus CC as it goes in for a stun, but the Succubus is way too potent. Soulfire is going to do a ton of damage. Charging in. Does he have any more healing whatsoever? Oh my god. Sharpened blades, but just couldn't quite connect at the end. And Dia looking pretty healthy right now as Katarina trying to approach from the left-hand side, trying to use the ramp. What was that? Hold on a second. It looked like you were like jumping into line of sight. Were you trying to like line of sight? Was it just trying to juke out Dia maybe? To get him to use mobility? Or is that just like you misplaying that? I'm not even sure. It looked kind of neat. You did a little backflip, but that's really about it. Hunt to follow immediately. Dia going for a port. Maybe that's what Katarina was trying to do. Trying to get the Warlock to use the ports really early on. But now you got a demon spawning in with you. Could pick up the demonic soul. Does nab it. And that's going to be the Warlock kind of out in the open. Succubus CC needs to come into play. Katarina does have a chicken for 8. Using it immediately with the Metamorphosis right after. If you could have used meta to juke out the Succubus CC, that would have been perfect. Big Fear, Soulfire to follow Katarina. Needs to break the Bonds of Fell. Doesn't want to do it though. Might actually end up doing it inadvertently as portals join, and then that's going to be pretty big damage for Dia. Does have a report. Mortal available. Katarina out in the open. Cannot really do much about it. Just Incinerants flying from around the side, but nothing can do. Oh, jumping out of the darkness. Definitely was not the play though. I think Panic maybe at some point. Mommy Wife are going to be up next. Immediately freezing Succubus. Dia knows this is not a good situation to be in. Needs to get away from Succubus because he knows the Hunter got to be somewhere out in the open. Kind of guessing where the Hunter could be and making the right guesses. Mommy Wife are kind of out in the open, hopes to maybe get the line of sight to be able to go for full sniper shot. Succubus is gonna find it. Just picked up the eyes. Dia just couldn't even see him for a second. Didn't realize he's actually right over. Is he playing? Even Dia is just trying to figure out is he in play. Mommy Wife, are you good? Popping defensives. I think that's a lot of cooldowns getting used. I'm not even sure what happened. Trying to go for feign death, maybe a camo? He's still dotted. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I think, no, he's popping cooldowns. I think he's in play. Or lagging? I'm not even sure. It's Dia jumping down, still also confused just as much as I am. Whether Mommy Wife is in play. Charging out, must be in play, right? He is. Yeah, Mortal, rapid fire to follow. Gonna be a trinket on Mommy Wife, who does go for the silence over onto Dia. If you're careful enough with that silence, you might be alright actually. Actually, double silence. The first was just a normal interrupt, now is the Chimeric Poison. Is gonna be a board together with the Bonzafell breaking it with the board teleport on the enemy target into a rapid fire right after. Infernal dropping in, Immolate to follow. I think it's just over, just a matter of time until Mommy Wife is done. Let's go for feign death. Anything? I think it's just done. Dia just ended up diabolically ripping away the enemies little by little, bit by bit, not letting them get too much of a play. 3 kills? I felt like it was more, but I guess it's just 3. Oh yeah, like Messiah does get pick up 2, doesn't he? Dude, Dia pops off, man. Dia's and Destro still popping off. They haven't touched that class at all, have they? Or was it only nerfs? It's either, I can't remember what class that's. If Destro's gotten only nerfs or like then just never really touched them since like the 10.1.5, but the class still does plenty well. Let's get us another one going here, boys. Yeah, uno más. Kevin, let me know if you got a 5 spot. Yo, if anybody needs a spot, let me know. Chicago, you're gonna be up next. I think we're gonna get Boris right next after you, or Boris versus you right now. Unless Boris isn't ready, Boris, let me know if you need more bodies. We can get you a couple of more and get you guys some more play. I want to join. Hey, Kinboy, more than welcome to. Yeah, we got groups available in LFG just like last week. If you want to join those, you should be good. Let me see if I can pin my how to join post. Here we go. Beautiful. Warlock was nerfed overall, yeah. A couple of times, right? Wasn't it? Because I couldn't remember. But I feel like it's also been a bit since they've done like really big PvP or tuning changes. They did try to nerf the Aug Evoker, Shadow Priest, Fire Mage, but that's still the meta. That still is the God Comp band. They haven't gone nowhere. Only AF has gotten some buffs to offset it. I feel like AF needs even more buffs. Like, how often do you see Affliction Warlocks anywhere? You know what I mean? I don't see them at all anywhere whatsoever. So I'd like to see even more of them if possible. Let me see. Full group ready or not yet? Let me see. Just double check with Boris, because otherwise I do Chicago Nike again, and then we could just kind of switch around a little bit. But I do want to give him a chance though. Where's the group? Groups are listed over in LFG. We usually list them in raids, like I see. We also have a post pin in the chat, top of the chat, showing you exactly where you could find the groups. But raids legacy, usually type number 5 in the chat. It should be good to go. Just search number 5. So like if you're looking it up, oh, let me see if the groups are available. Raids legacy, find the group, type number 5, enter. That's it. For me, it's raids Shadowlands, kind of like separate spots. But for you guys, should just be raids legacy, just one area. Not yet. Okay, we'll get Chicago versus we'll do Night King versus Chicago. We'll do it like that. 5 Rook. Okay, cool. So while Boris is getting group together, at some point I don't want to get Boris versus Chicago playing each other. What's the name of it? The groups usually would be like 5V5 1V1 Duels. Again, if you check out the like the search, if you just type in number 5, you'll be good to go. Boris should be setting up a group right now. Then you need a +1 or +2. Ban rogues, please. Come on, we've only had outlaw rogues that played today. Like literally no subtlety rogues at all. Bones is still playing outlaw, man. Why would we ban rogues? What, just for funsies? Or do you just like not like Injustice? What happened? Did the rogue touch you weird today? Did the rogue hit you up in the BG randomly? Yo, can we get hashtag Shane, my man? Oh my god, you're amazing, Shane. You're amazing. Thank you for the 20 bones, Shane. I appreciate you. Hashtag Shane, boys, appreciate you, my guy. Because they're toxic. I don't know if our rogues so far have done anything toxic today, but like again, like if you got a rogue you know that poisoned your drink or pissed in your cereal the other day, I mean, I don't blame you. Does sound like rogue behavior, let's be honest. You know what I mean? Rogue play behavior right there. But none of these rogues have done nothing bad so far. I don't see a reason to ban them, but give me a second. I'm sure Sivak is about to get him some ban right now. Switch. Gotta be chill pills off the bat as a Frosty Death Knight versus Rogue. Immediate kidney shot as Bones and Steel sticking to those outlaw literally guns as he's going for the pistol shot, stunned by Chilpas, looking to pick up big damage, massive obliterates, but the Rogue vanishing out, grapple hook away. Death and Decay does get him out in the open though, and it's gonna be a couple of those howling blasts keeping Bones and Steel in play. As the man just trying to see if he can buy himself a little bit of a breather, blind to followed by the Death Knight, chains of ice onto the Rogue, trying to control him whenever his cooldowns are up. But Chill Pills right now, he just doesn't have big cooldowns for the moment. His Pillar of Frost not coming back up for about 30 more seconds. Maybe he can go for a random stun onto Rogue with a Remorseless Winter, lock in a couple of obliterates back to back, but for the most part right now he just kind of wants to play it super slow and steady. But against an outlaw rogue, at least he's not having to play around big, massive offensive cooldowns. And it's going to be a Blade Flare out of Bones as he's able to get some damage onto the pet as well. Kidney Shot getting quite a few pistol shots back to back onto Chills, able to go for that hit and run strat, which is helping him a lot more than it's helping Chills. But the cooldowns are coming back for the death. And what is that grip? Hold up, was that a stun and a grapple hook? It looked like you just gripped him over there, like you pushed him away. What is that force push just now? As Chilpos does activate himself some resources, wants to have a big go versus the rogue, but so far has not been able to. The ghoul is fading, so no longer can Bone Steel attack it, or either the ghoul can't really keep the rogue in combat at all. Gouge off of that, Remorseless Winter is available, wants to make himself a big play, but the rogue is just not landing it whatsoever. Okay, maybe Justice does have a point when it comes to banning rogues. It's like rogues are toxic, so you know what? That was some toxic behavior just now. Oh my god. This man plays Outlaw, but in IRL, he's assassination spec. What is this? It's gonna be a stun. Chilpo's finally got some cooldowns. Maybe some big damage. Gouge immediately, but it's gonna be able to break out of it. Stun to follow. Does IBF out of it? Bones will definitely need some defenses. The big damage out of the Frost Death that does get the Rogue super low, but he's able to vanish and reset. Outlaw Rogue does not have the vanishes of a subtlety, but they do have cooldown reduction whenever they spend calm points into finishers. And Vanish is one of the abilities that does have some calm points, finishers, combos. Cloak of Shadows to follow, got himself a bit of a Blade Flurry, looking to pick up a bit of damage, try to see if he can just play super slow and steady versus Shield. Does not say Gouge for long at all. It's going to be the Remorseless Winter Stun, freezing the Rogue's Bones, letting Chilpos get a couple of good hits here and there, as Bones of Steel does go for a killing spree, gives him a bit of defense, but also quite a bit of offense damage too. As he's going in for more pistols, ambushes to follow, cracking through Chilpos' armor, Blade Flurry yet again stun right after. Next stun onto Chilpos could be very deadly though. Does Shadow Step off of a grapple hook? I don't really know if he wanted to Shadow Step. Gouge to follow, cheat death onto the Rogue, might not be in a great spot, trying to go for big pistols to follow, but I think Chilpos may just have him, does end up cudgeling the Rogue at the very end, with Conan charging in immediately. Full Fury Warrior ready to go blind onto Conan, does go for the trinket. Chilpos needs to use everything he can to survive this one. If that goal is still in play, you will want to expunge it for whatever life it has. But Chill's not really looking all the healthy right now. The only thing is really, never mind. I was going to say not looking healthy, but apparently this man is literally on full health. I was going to say the only thing he's got is a death mark. Wait, was it a Warlock Hellstone? I might have been a Warlock Hellstone from Diabolicals, but actually kind of makes sense. Conan with a Sunder, big stun onto Chills, bleed to follow, does go in for the stun, and Chills does not really have big offensive damage yet, but he's still trying to see if he can tussle with Conan into a silence as the disarm comes out. But now Chilpos should be free to just absolutely dumpster a bunch of a blitz into Conan. May want to press defenses here. That's going to be him no longer able to go for disarm, does go for the big heal, stun by Chilpos for a second, does not want to give Conan an opportunity to re-heal, but the Stormbolt is just not going to let you out of that side whatsoever. Goes in for a Chain of Ice with a human racial, trying to reduce some of the damage taken by Conan, and Conan catching up quite a bit of healing at the end of the day though. Into the blind to follow as Chilpos goes in for a death pack, just trying to see if he can survive the Furious Warrior and his Furious Onslaught. But the longer you stay away from Conan, the more healing this guy's gonna get. Second Wind is a beautiful talent for warriors. As long as their health does not take damage, they can heal. So you want to keep that Frost Fever on him at all times. Chain of Ice, but definitely as you round the band away from the warrior, hit him with a Frost Fever just to make sure that he's still just rotting down to at least some kind of a disease. It's got to be Conan going in for big damage. So is Chilpos. It's just going to be big haymakers versus each other, as this is going to be Chilpos activating IBF, just trying to see if he can stay in there. Maybe try to see if he can just make a big play versus Conan. It's going to be AMS using every defensive variable. Stone to follow, does have himself a ghoul active, trying to play around his cooldowns, but Conan got a lot of that survivability, looking for Bloodthirst. Oh, but Chilpos just cudgels him. At the end of the day, he just goes in for Obliterate 1, Obliterate 2, just trying to see if we get back-to-back Obliterates. Now Seaver comes up next. The best Seaver can really do is maybe give him a poly, let him heal up to full or something. I think if you just poly him really quickly, he could heal. He's giving him death strikes. He wants him to heal. Or maybe Chills just wants to go. Seavark immediately going in for a little bit of that Alta time. Stun to follow, trinkets out of it as the touch of the magic surrounds Chill. Does have himself an AMS, but Seavark might just be able to burn through it very quickly. Stun onto, no, blind on Chill Pills. I was thinking that was stun for a second. Silent missiles to follow. Chill Pills might be in a bit of trouble. Ring of Fire, what's that doing? Even Seavark is just like, wait a second. That's not gonna work. What is that angle? Chilpos does get surrounded by the fire together with the Arcane Orb, silence on the Seavark, but I think at this point it's just over. Barrage should be able to take him out. Does go for the grip, looking for those death strikes, got himself Legendborn to give himself a little bit more healing, but at this point there's only so much he can really do. Trying to maximize his value in terms of heals, does have a death pact available, should use it as soon as possible. Big Arcane Surge instead actually changes. I think an Arcane Surge might have done the work here. Chilpos at least gets himself out of that execute range. AMS back up in play, does have the AMZ. If you can somehow get to Seavark to exhaust all of his mobility, grip him back in and keep him controlled inside of an AMZ, that'll be amazing, as you can just unleash full onslaught of your Frosty Might as Seavark trying to see if he can not get in there with Chill Pills, trying to see if he can play very careful around it. Arcane Orbs. Do those Arcane Orbs, like if they stand next to the wall, will they still reach? I think they might. I think they would, wouldn't they? Let's see if we're just trying to see if he can get himself a little bit more time. By the way, their shoulders look fantastic. Those are really, really good looking. That color scheme and everything. Stun onto Chills does go in for a big blink. Seawork trying to make sure he doesn't get interrupted here. Chills does have a silence backup in case he wants to use it. May want to use it right here. Could be a good spot to do it right now, actually. All the time right now for Seawork, as Chills still has a touch of the magic on him for a little bit longer. Silence, but looks like Seawork has been able to avoid him into a Shadow Meld for just a second. Blind to follow. Does Chill have himself proper stun? Does have a stun. Blink available for Seawork. Does he have a grip? He does able to reconnect. Barrages are going to be huge for Seawork. Got himself Arcade Orbs back to back with those barrages. Intershift in power just to regen some cooldowns. Going to be that quick intro by Chilled, but it looks like the cooldowns are gone for quite a bit though. That might need to use everything here just to survive. This is a full burst out of Seawork right now. Missiles right after. He is in a zone for a moment, but as soon as the zone fades, it's going to be over. AMS last second does go for the stun. Has himself a ultra time. He's going to go for an interrupt, but a fire blast takes him out at the end. Oh my goodness. ASUS is going to be up next, trying to see if he can clean Seawork off of all the buzz, but it's going to be a quick poly by the mage. Look at the sling back behind the grades over to his side of the arena. Maybe catch up a little bit of healing. For Hazer, he needs to be very, very careful. A lot of the time, Sim playing versus Seawork, one single interrupt on Shadow locks him out of Disperse, and it's just the end of him. It's going to be quick interrupt by Seawork. Does go for the trinket out of the silence though, just to make sure he can disrupt Hazer, but he's taking a lot of damage from it. All the time lets him recover a little bit of health, but those tentacles making sure he doesn't come. Look at this 3 wait, 2 real tentacles, one is like a pet tentacle, isn't it? I was going to say for a second. I was thought you got 3. That was going to be real lucky. But those tentacles making sure he doesn't come out of that encounter unscathed. Going to be a bit of shifting power. Full cooldowns available for Seawork in just 10 seconds. He's got defenses coming back too. He still has Ice Block and everything available, so he's perfectly fine. As the Shadow Fiend joins the play. PI for Hazer wants to go for big damage. It's going to be spell stolen PI. Seawork trying to go for massive output. As long as Hazer doesn't cast shadow spells, he should be okay. Seawork trying to see if he can get around the corner versus Hazer, blasting him out. Silence. Ice Block on this one. Does he go for the cast? Hazer take a lot of damage. Mindflame Synergy does not get interrupted just now. That could have been amazing. Stunner to Seawork has a blink for it. Doesn't go for interrupt just yet. Oh, but it doesn't even need to. It's just all the damage out of left field, out of nowhere. They didn't even give him a chance to press Disperse just because of how much damage he was able to commit at the very, very end of the day. My goodness. And Seawork trying to see if he can get away from the Succubus. Mortal Ascent and his Diabolical is going to be up next. Reflect up, and that's going to be Seawork actually bailing out of it entirely. Oh, big Infernal dropping in. Actually kind of putting Seawork in a weird spot as he tried to go for a little bit of that Ring of Fire. Shift of Power is available, so he's trying to see if he can get some cooldowns back. Not going to be able to use too many defenses, but offenses for sure. He's got himself touching the magic, trying to see if he can just get ported. Does get ported actually in a different spot, but not the worst location possible. Touching the magic, it's going to be Diabolical with a big defensive. Does go in for a port of his own, as Seawork is going to reposition entirely. I think he's not all the time earlier, yeah? Put touching the magic on the Succubus? Is that what it was? Is that what it is? Succubus you see right after. Are you just trying to kill this thing? Is that why it has like all this arcane power around it? Soul Fire to follow. Lots of damage. Seawork trying to see if he can give himself a little bit of survivability. That Prismatic is going to actually give you quite a bit of healing. At 54% dampening though, it is limited healing, but it's better than no healing whatsoever. Seawork is going to have to find a way to get out of combat, sit down, get himself a bit of food, but a gate by Diabolicals, I think he's ready to just charge in. But it's going to be a Ring of Frost waiting for him. Succubus trying to charge in. That's going to be Seawork actually recovering quite a bit of health. It's going to go for a Power Surge onto the Succubus. Might just be able to eliminate it. That or use it as a primer to get some burst from the Diabolicals. It's going to be a Mortal Ascent in, but doesn't sit in that long. This is going to be a trick out of Seawork. Able to force Diabolicals back behind the pillar, taking quite a bit of damage either way. Touching the magic is going to do quite a big hit either way though. And Seawork just trying to see if he can maybe slam out the Succubus. Does end up killing it. Diabolicals having to quick summon another one just to make sure he's got a pet in play at all times. And for Seawork, I mean, he's just chilling. Freeze, got himself food, able to recover a lot of health, actually doing plenty healthy right now. Into missiles to follow onto Diabolicals, does have himself reflect, get himself frozen though, so maybe for Seawork this could be a good opportunity. Touching the magic to follow up from there, got himself barrages back to back, massive damage on Diabolicals. I don't even know what's hitting him. Ring of Fire to follow right after, more orbs to follow, just going in for barrages. It's going to be Chaos Bolts flying from Gateways, Mortal Ascent at Seawork, trying to go for Chaos Bolts, but Seawork got himself invis to at least reduce some of the damage of that bolt by I think what, 60%. Mad barrage onto Diabolicals. Is that enough? Let's see if I try to see if we can end this duel. Missiles right after into another barrage. I think it's just over. Oh my god. The executes at the very end are just brutal. I am loving it. That is so good. Oh my god. That is so good. There's a lot of damage on the Arcane Mage. Psycho is up next as a Demon Hunter. I think it's actually might be a bit of a better matchup for Sevark. Demon Hunters are very similar to not similar to Rogues. Easier, like an easier, much easier version than Rogues. I would say kind of close to a warrior, if anything. As Psycho trying to see if we can lock down Sevark does have Ice Block very soon. All the time gives you a little bit of survivability. Could use the Ice Block to recover a lot of health. Mad damage on the Psycho, able to punish him while keeping your distance, keeping a safe range. Where's the Demon Hunter? Could go for a barrage. Stun last second for Psycho. Breath to disrupt the I-beam. Needs a barrage to get through the defenses. If you can do it, just slamming barrages back to back into the guy, into an Ice Block immediately versus Light Messiah. I don't know if he was gonna survive that hunt, and I think he might have panicked there with an Ice Block as well. But he needed to use the Ice Block versus Light Messiah anyway. That was gonna be the only way he's gonna catch up any healing. Polymorph spam onto Light Messiah as he's popping wings, not Crusade wings, so he's not losing too much by having him used up right here. Freeze onto Light Messiah, looks like able to avoid it with a bubble. Let's see if he gets to find a way to bail out of here. All the time available very soon. Does have images back up, is gonna be able to go for a back blink as he's able to disorient Light Messiah a little bit. Got himself all the time, keeping himself plenty healthy, blind to follow, drink inside of it, interrupt him on Holy. Wait a second, you should interrupt on Holy. That could be the end to Light Messiah right now. Barrages and oh my god! Oh, he only used bubble, it didn't even matter. Oh my goodness! Oh, what just happened? Is that 5? Man, it's gonna get himself banned. I did not think he was gonna do it. That intro was so good at the end. My goodness, the Demon Hunter. I mean, a mage can run circles around the guy the entire time, keeping a safe range, just barraging him, just punishing the guy. Oh my goodness. Ban, just as immediate as like, ban, get this guy out of here. Get him out of here. Alrighty, Boris got a full group. I think we do Chicago versus Boris, yeah. I think we do Chicago versus Boris. Chicago, let me know if his team is still there, because just to give you guys a bit of that variety. Awesome. I got. Cool. I got myself a 3-man group for Baldur's Gate tonight. We did that last week. You're level 70. I'm level 60. Like what? All right. All right. Good deal. That was great. Wow. So skillful. That was insane. Percent still full. Awesome. Let's get Boris versus let's get Boris versus Chicago real quickly. Boris and Chicago. Let's just throw in Hook Point immediately. Yeah. I want to join, but I don't see 5V5 1V1 DUELS. So Boris just filled the group. That means he did end up taking his group offline. Night King, chilled. If you're in chat, I'm gonna get your group next. It's gonna be a really quick Chicago versus Boris, but then we'll get you guys back in there as soon as possible, okay? Just because Chicago and Boris have not got to play each other whatsoever. It should work, hopefully. I joined. Thanks. Awesome. Happy to hear that. Ass and Duels doesn't help that I'm an orc. I don't have a free restart like an elf. Melting with add-out, but no CDs pop damage in mid. Wait, are you the rogue from earlier, the outlet? You did really good, by the way. But yeah, not having the shadow melt does kind of suck. I think as outlet, you have to play around the buffs, and you have to play around like cooldowns. Like as a rogue, specifically if you're playing the acrobatic strikes, you have that range. And you should try to see if you can get yourself whatever damage you can. I'm the rogue. I think you need to hit him with that shiv and go for sinister strikes while keeping him in the dead zone. I think that's what you gotta do. That or engouge and stun, slice and dice, maintain it at all times. For outlet, it is so much more important than any other spec. But also if you try Dreadblades too, that's another pretty good bit of gameplay. If you use Dreadblades as part of your rotational gameplay, lots of free combo points, lots of damage every single time you have a stun. It's really good. It's really good. Trill used it last week as well, so it worked out really well for him. But I've seen more rogues switching to it. Not a lot of outlaws out there to begin with, but more outlaw rogues switching to that kind of play. Alrighty, switch. We got one missing over for the team one, but we got their DJ Flex, Kevin Landers, Makima, and Sakua gonna be first up off the bat. Caster Meta over on the team two. We got Sasiva joining in with Conan together with Shadhunt gonna be first up, prowling around. Revive pet. Why was your pet dead? Wait, could you not do this hunter thing where your pets can kill command and you can just like sit in stealth? Could you do that? Wait, your pets are, yeah, go kill commanded. I think that will keep you in stealth. You can see your pets though. Chicago's going to be ready for that team with Sakura going to be first up. Ring of Peace, try to see if he can get Shadhound out. Does follow the pets and finds the hunter. Lexu, but his adaptation doesn't get proc. Why is adaptation not procced from... Wait, why is adaptation not procced from Alexup? Is that not how it's supposed to be? Huh? What? Wait, is it adaptation just kind of useless then, isn't it? Stone onto Sakura. It's gonna be Zuen immediately trapping the Zuen. I don't know if you tried to trap it on purpose or not, but that was perfect. Big Fist of Fury by the monk. Try to see if he can take down Shadhound as he's amping up his own health just a little bit with a bear's fortitude. Extra health just to survive. 20% more damage reduction with the survival of the fittest as the karma comes out. Shadhound, oh, touch of death to follow. Sakura does not want to find out what happens at the very end of the day. Wait, hold on, is it C-Mark? Is it Conan? Conan leaping in? Maybe he's like, you know what? Maybe he saw Stever charging out. He was like, you know what? If Stever goes to play, I ain't playing today, so I'm going to try to see if I can take down Sakura real quickly. Oh my goodness. As Conan does end up using quite a lot of cooldowns there, but Sakura able to divert it with a hand of freedom. Big Panther Rachel getting quite a bit of value. Double roll, try to stay away from the warrior as best as possible. Lexu to follow, maybe can get a trick out of him. Does get the human Rachel to follow up. If you got a Fist of Fury, now would be the perfect time to use one. That's going to be Conan slamming out big damage. Does catch a quick charge, and that's going to be executes. Stormbolt to follow. I think it's over for Sakura. I don't really know how he come out of this one alive though. Try to see if he can keep himself alive as best as possible. Back it up away with a Vivify. Still has a bleed or something on him. Needs something right now. Fist of Fury gives him a little bit of survivability. Conan going in for big defenses. Shockwave onto Sakura. Has himself a port. At least able to bail out of there for a second. Vivifies and whatever healing you can provide is going to be very, very helpful. Conan having to decide what to do in this situation with the Ring of Peace blocking him off from one angle. Does end up mounting up instead. It's gonna be Sakura trying to see if we can bail out of there, just rushing out as he's trying to get himself stabilized a little bit. Looks like able to catch up quite a bit of health actually. So for Sakura, that's a good situation. Disarm will not be able to use Fist of Fury, but still has access to quite a huge inventory of abilities as Conan does drop down a full Stormbolt. Fist of Fury locking down the warrior for a little bit. Sakura needs a little bit more damage. Does go in for big kicks to follow, but looks like Conan has been able to survive a lot of the damage. Also does have a karma to follow up, so for Conan, better be very, very careful. You want to play super defensive with that karma, leap it away. Sakura looking to chase, but actually no, decides against it. If he's gonna chase, he's gonna put himself in a weird spot. Better just sit back, go for a bit of healing, let his Zuen deal with Conan for a little bit. For Conan, that's not the worst situation to be in though. Bloodthirst off of Zuen as well as an impending victory or two should keep him alive at the 12% dampening. But Sakura wants to get in there, man. He's better be very, very careful with mobility. In cap onto that Stormbolt, but Conan able to break free with the Berserker's Rage. Trinket to follow off of this one. Bleed onto Sakura as a Fist of Fury's out. Try to see if he can fight through a Fist of Fury. It's going to be Sakura using the Ring of Peace to boop Conan out of the way. And Conan still has a lot of damage. He has a lot of potential cooldowns. So Sakura try to see if he can play super, super safe. Just cutting him out, staying back as best as possible as a jab comes out into a Shockwave to follow him. Still damage available for Conan as he still has himself one more Odin's Fury at the ready. Fist of Fury locking him out for a second though. Sakura takes a lot of hits and this like sustained damage. Him versus Conan. Fury Warrior versus a Monk and sustain. Warrior wins every single time. The rampages, the executes, the rage and blows, the bloodthirst, everything it just ends up feeding into his play. He wants to fight you out in the open without any line of sight, where Sakura needs to find a way to create some opportunity for hit and runs. Big leg sweep onto Conan, maybe big damage, potentially be good for him. Gonna be mad defenses for Conan right now. Sakura disarm for a moment, cannot use Fist of Fury for a good bit though. Still has karma, so if Conan, especially if he goes super hyper offensive and you combine a karma on top of it, that could be really, really good. As Conan does go in for a stun, big damage to Sakura, trying to see if he can crack those defenses. Karma, as soon as the Spore Cloak shield comes out and Conan trying to play super, super safe, Sakura charges in. I think this is where he wants to try to see if he can finish off Conan. Stormbolt to follow. Conan buying himself a little bit of time. If you can live this long enough, he might be okay. Locked down by Fist of Fury, super, super low on health. Maybe another touch of death. Does he have it? Oh, does get him low enough where touch of death is going to secure him the kill. That is perfect for Sakura. That was actually so good. See, we're going to be up next, unless he's trying to give somebody else a chance. He's trying to give Sakura at least as much of an honor duel as possible. I feel like Seawork needs to play some Frost or something, dude. Like, expect that is an arcade. Because I feel like maybe at least it'll give the other team maybe a chance. Because so far, I mean, we just watched the boy go for a 5-0, so you never know. Mad burst on the Sakuna, able to pour it out of there immediately. But Seawork is primed for big damage into a Panda Rage. Lexi Portfolio does have a trinket for this one. Missiles right after, trying to make sure he doesn't get disrupted. Big blast on the Sakuna is able to reposition. Oh my god, just blast him out. Just absolutely disintegrated him into bits. The man has just been atomized. As Dragonflight is going to be next. Wait, this is the class that could take down Seawork. Hunters, for one reason or another, do well against mages. On average, going to be a blink out of Seawork, but he knows there's going to be more traps around the corner. Try to see if he can just hit DJ Flex with any abilities he can use without having to line aside. And big death shock him with kill shots available for DJ. Got himself lots of mobility, lots of range damage, mad kill shots. It's absolutely piercing past Seawork. It's just trying to go for touching the magic, big damage as well. Journal Shell might come out for DJ as he's just rotating more defenses. Seawork not really in a great spot. Does blink into a freezing trap. May have to go for an ice block right now just to live this as DJ Flex able to go for a feign death, reducing a lot of that touch of the magic damage, feigning death, and it's going for that manic bandage immediately, trying to fall down on the ground, but starts to suture himself up immediately as he just tries to gas out the fire, remove some of the arcane afterflow, just trying to keep himself healthy. Still holding on to a turtle shell, so he's perfectly fine right now, but a lot of his burst cooldowns have been used. He still has death shock him. Every time that thing is up, I mean, it's quite a bit of extra damage that a hunter adds. It looks like DJ does end up finding himself away from any of the arcane damage, able to get himself at least a camo. As Seawork looking to get himself some cooldowns back up and running. DJ trying to get some damage back up as well. Full cooldowns available for Seawork. Maybe can make a big play right now, but it's going to be his approach. Seawork going in for a little bit of all the time, letting him use all the cooldowns, backing up out of this as he can. Let's go, Azrael. Dude, DJ Flex is really, really good. Really, really good. I don't know. We don't really get too many players from like Azrael and stuff, but he's just one of the classic ones, dude. Plenty of it's been done on DJ Flex. This man is a homie. This guy does really, really well. Represents Azrael up really too well, too. Into a scatter shot onto Seawork as the man's actually got not a lot of cooldowns to work with. I think he went for cooldowns really, really early. Maybe a little too early. Got himself an angle versus DJ. Feign death for just a second. Roots him out in the open. Trying to throw in as many barrages as possible. DJ's waiting until the next death shock is available. Maybe going to lock down Seawork with a stun. But it's going to be Ring of Fire. Trying to keep DJ kind of out in the open. Missiles to follow. Get himself quite a bit of damage though. Touching the magic as well. DJ getting him with big barrages back to back. Oh my goodness. As soon as you get caught by touching the magic, it's over, man. As soon as you get caught by slow and a touch of the Magi, it's done. Kevin tried to see if he could just slam out Seawork into a full crusade. Bubble available. Seawork does not have an ice block for this one. Trying to go for blinks. Does he have an invis? I don't think he's got himself an invis. He's got himself back blink though, so he's able to at least reposition Nova onto Kevin, able to get himself some cooldowns back up. So maybe some offensive power could be coming back up into play. Bubble was used by Kevin, by the way. I don't know if he's got a Spell Warden or not. I imagine playing against Chicago, caster meta, Seawork, maybe Spell Warden would have been the play. But I can also see an argument for Blessing of Protection, probably Spell Warden though if I had to guess. Seawork does not have a lot of help to work with. Kevin got plenty of damage either way though. Caster Meta trying to see if he can just go for big damage onto Kevin. Does he have a back blink? He does. He has a way to reposition yet again. And that's a lot of cooldowns available for Seawork right now. Kevin, unless he got himself a big immunity, might be in a bad spot. Layered hands. I think he's the Blessing of Protection player right now. Oh my god, it's gonna be anyone's game. Kevin barely came in this. Oh, what is that? That was just a orb? There's no way that's just an orb that did that. That might have been orb and a Battle Master's falling off at the same time, right? That was a lot. Unless it was like a barrage and an orb combining together. And then I could see it. Bladestorm was bloodless, leaping in, playing up to his name entirely. Ring of Fire surrounding him, though. He's kind of just caught behind the rafters, unable to really approach the mage. And Seawork gets himself a shifting power. Bloodless kind of stops in place, trying to reassess the situation. I'm glad he's not like just stops just to like give up. I'm glad he's just like at least just reassessing here, trying to go for an interrupt on the Seawork. Doesn't connect. Big damage to follow though. Seawork trying to use the back blinks in order to get himself a little bit of a better setup. Full touch of the match onto Bloodless, building up a lot of damage. Just so himself die by the sword to reduce a lot of it though. Ring of Fire setting it back up, actually canceling it. It's going to be a Stormbolt to follow. Seawork does not have an out for this one. Might just have to go for an ice block. That's his one bastion of defense. Does have a trinket back up. Lots of cooldowns coming back up very, very soon. Reflect up for just a second. Big orbs are just barraging down Seawork, bombarding the enemy team back to back. Not really letting get too much play right now. just got himself in such a good spot as Bloodlust, trying to get himself out of this situation. Immediate Nova as soon as he tries to charge out with Arcane Surges, full damage available, trying to see if he can live this breath to follow, as that is a trick out of the receiver. Just sees one more barrage. Oh, it doesn't even need it. Just orbs, man. These orbs are doing work. Makima, last one left as a rogue. Waiting. Oh, does get hit by an orb either way though. Blinder to Seaverk maybe can still make a play off of this one into a cheap shot, but does get himself frozen. Seaverk does end up going for Alter Time, but cancels it. No, he doesn't cancel it. So you can still reposition next to Makima in case you wanted to. Might not be the worst spot, honestly. Try to Nova, but it's a Cloak of Shadows out of the Rogue. He doesn't know it, but it's got a pretty big defensive out of the Rogue. So now for Seaverk, it's actually kind of a winnable position. Ice Block available. Got himself maybe Images, hopefully. Does have a Blink for this one. That's a full Flagellation for Makima. And Seaverk, if he can just control this Flagellation damage, he'll be perfectly fine. He knows there's going to be a Shadow Step for the Rogue. No, he doesn't even let him step. He just let his landing. He's not even giving him a chance. Barrages. Oh my god, the orbs. I think Wackham just give up. He just give up. He just left. Oh no, I hate when you guys leave, man. I hate when you guys leave, but that's gonna be for Seamark. Didn't even let him pick up a fifth, man. Come on. Oh my goodness. Arcane Mages, man. Arcane Mages. The amount of damage they do is surprising me. I mean, they surprise me every single time, but I didn't expect for Arcane Orbs to get as many kills there as I thought it would. I'm not even sure. I'm gonna need to look through that, like especially what happened to the Paladin to Kevin, because it looked like he's just fine and an orb is just rushing at him and then he just dies. I'm not sure what happened. I think what that was is a Battle Masters and an orb hit him. Battle Masters falls off, he gets like 2 health, orb hits him, he's dead. Might be one of those situations, but I'm not sure. That was a lot. Or Barrage. 10% chance. So you just hit him with a barrage and an orb. So you just like orb and barrage travel together is what you're saying? Because the only thing I saw there was an orb, but maybe there was an orb and a barrage just like hit him at once. Because a barrage fully charged up, that would kill him. That would be an execute. I can believe that. But an orb solo, weird. But if that's a barrage, that's crazy. Hold on a second. Oh, you're right. Oh my. Why does the orb hit so hard, by the way? Why does it hit so hard? I am surprised that orb hits as hard as it does. 1. And 2. And 2. What's barrage? Oh my god. Oh, thank you for the screen grab, Seawork. That is incredible. Any spots? I can peep them. Any spots available, boys, for my boy Trill? Any at all? Night King hasn't got to play at all, yeah? I think it's time for Chicago. No, Boris and Night King probably, yeah? I left Trill can take a spot. So Trill, we should have a spot available with Chicago. It's going to be listed in Raids Legacy. Yeah, we go. Just type in number 5 in search. You'll be good to go. Chicago, if you're going to be looking for Trill, I'm sure like Trill, whatever class you bring, that will work, yeah? Analogy, there we go. Yeah, so we're doing Raids Legacy. Just because put them up in RBGs, you just gotta get a bunch of people that don't really know, like, oh, it's a duel? Oh, okay. Happens a lot, man. It's just you get 2 goobers just charging out of nowhere. They're new, they have no idea what's happening. So we just throw them in like the Raids Legacy just to make it a little bit easier. Under like Molten Core or something. Let me save the footage, by the way, while I got it. 5. So who just played? It was Chicago, but I guess like Chicago's team never actually got to play, did they? It wasn't really Team Chicago. Let's do Chicago versus Night King, and then we'll do Night King versus Boris again. Yeah, I think that's how we do it. I lost track of like who got to play, who hasn't got to play at all. But Night King didn't get to play last one, and seems Chicago just, I mean, it's just Seawork walks in, everybody dies kind of deal. Maybe we can get Seawork on the Team Boris at some point, yeah? That could work out as well. Let's do Night King and Chicago 5. Is he crashed? Oh good, oh good. Wait, we'll wait, we can wait for you. What team were you in, Malachi? Were you Team Chicago? Because we could wait a little bit. 5, actually, never mind. We can give it a second. We can give him a moment. What you see where Duel is like looking at a Picasso painting. Up close it shouldn't work, but when you step back, it's absolutely gorgeous. Dude, he's an artist. He's actually so fun to watch. And the fun thing is too on Seawork, like for me, I get extra joy out of it. Just because I've seen Seawork during the humble days, right? During the starter days. Like a lot of you guys know Seawork is just like this monster of dueling arena. All right, whenever he pops in, everybody's like ban mages, ban arcane. But like I've seen him during the humble days too, especially when arcane is like not that great. Do you know who DC'd? Did you boot him? Already found a replacement? We'll just play real quick and we can get it back in here a later time, Chicago. All good, no worries. No worries. What are we gonna do? We do Tigers? What's a Tigers peak, man? Hi dude, what do you think about Shaman? Will he get some PvE buffs? I would love for Shamans to be meta. They're super fun. I mean, the enhancement is still really good right now. I think enhance is really, really good. I think enhancement is pretty much meta currently. In raids, in dungeons, really good. Like if you're not running the god build for Mythic Plus, enhance is a fantastic option. It is fun, it is effective, you got Wind Fury, so like you're wanted in raids and dungeons, you're really, really good in general. It's just elemental, I feel like. It's so fun. It's just, it's missing something. I don't exactly know what, but it's missing. Oh, they updated Evoker. Look, Augie buffs. You can actually see like all their abilities. You can see breath, you can see the time white or time skip, upheaval, buff. Wow. Look at that. I have a great idea for 5V5 1v1 duel. Hit me with it, man. Hit me with it. I find elemental feels better. Dude, it's so fun. But you need to like a right setup. Like in single target, it's pretty cool. In like big AoE fights, it's insane. In like 2 target, 3 target cleave, it's kind of like awkward, honestly, unless you play like the lava burst build. Or at least I found it a little more awkward than to play lava burst. The rogues me, do you remember? Tier? Yeah, I do. I do. Make a fight without gear except for weapons and trinkets. I feel like certain classes would end up getting value out of it than others. I feel like caster would scale pretty poorly. And like melee class would probably win the most, but that'll be weird. Switch. It's an interesting one though. Chiple's gonna be first up over for the team 1 versus Conan over in team 2. A bit of a rematch between the two. Last time Chill played as a Frost Death Knight, this time he's able to just overwhelm the Furious Warrior with the army of the undead. Gargoyle or Arbiter joining in immediately as Conan activating every single defensive and rage regen. Avatar is available. Silence to follow, kind of limited on some of the abilities he can use while silence, primarily Rallying Cry as well as Fear. Chiple's just leaving him over there with the army of the dead, looking for a retreat, but Conan not letting go anywhere, trying to see if he can expand as many cooldowns on the chill pulse as possible. Reflect for a second, those death codes are actually blasted right through Conan, trying to see if he can end him right now. Just used to maximize the damage while also minimize the amount of defenses used, and IBF was one of the big ones that he had to toss out just to live a double. Winter by Jungle is going to be up next versus Chill. Down himself Death Shock him, immediate AMS, which actually covers him for the grenades as well as some of the poison damage. Big kill shots though are going to be so deadly as Jungle trying to see if he can just blast him with the Death Knight. Going to be the army of the dead join in, swapping on his build instead of playing the damage over time Necromancer Bargain. Instead playing the proper Apocalypse that sends out a couple of more homies to join in. And actually looks like they're plenty effective. Going to be a blind onto Jungle. Does go for the trinket, stun to follow, trying to see if he can recover a little bit of health. Silence on the Hunter, does have himself a death pack. May just want to use death pack since the Hunter's bailing out of there, but it looks at Chills and Stress trying to end the duel. Human racial out of the stun. Jungle with a faint death for a second. Freezing Trap on the Chill Pulse. Might be a bit of a bad spot. Got himself a little bit of manic advantage as the ghoul charges in. There goes the full burst on the Jungle. Got himself Death Shock on the Chill Pulse. Could be anyone's game right now. Could be really bad for Chill Pulse. Jungle trying to live, but no, a stun reversal. Oh my god, the stun, the reversal into a Clawing Shadows, taking him out as Caster Meta is going to be up next. Does not want to give Chills any resets whatsoever. Does not even want to give him like a fair chance, no opportunity. He's just gonna take down this Death Knight as soon as he sees him. This man is dead on sight. Literally risen from the graveyard, fighting for the faction of the Alliance, and now Casameta is just trying to put him back in the grave. Ring of Peace doesn't really let you much of a backpedal opportunity. Does go in for IBF to break out of the Lexium. Casameta with full cooldowns, trying to see if he closes the gap. Blind to follow, does go for the trinket. Chill's just trying to see if he can use the slows to keep him at bay. Silence to follow. I don't really know if that can really help you. Lichborn barely letting you survive, but looks like has been able to live through majority of Casameta's offensive damage. The Monk is still very deadly. Blackout kicks, Rising Sun kicks, everything is just so hard hitting. Does go in for the pet charge for just a moment. Chills needs whatever survivability he can. The touch of death is probably going to be the end of the year, right? Doesn't abuse the touch of death. Doesn't even want to play around it whatsoever. That is so rough. Stun around the corner by Haster, summoning up the silence to get Shadow build. Shadow build just to dodge him entirely. It looked like Haster, he needed to be a little bit closer for those void balls flying from every direction. That is so rough. Casameta wouldn't even give Chipos a proper auto duel. I feel like an auto duel would have been amazing. because Shield Pills did so good for so long. I feel like that would have been a much closer game than it turned out. I feel like that actually could have been an even match. Oh man, missed opportunity right there, but Caster Meta trying to see if he can pick up a kill fairly quickly. Haysher up next, Shadow Priest trying to see if he can take it a little bit slow and steady versus Caster. There's only so much you can do as a Shadow Priest. I guess the Monk who's got basically infinite mobility, all he can really do in this situation is try to see if he can get himself a decent setup, stun, maybe a fear, get himself the Siphon to add a little bit of damage over time. He's able to get dots on the Caster Meta at the very least. I wish the dots for Shadow Priest were a little bit more effective, you know what I mean? Just if you were to build for like a dot build or something, it would have been kind of cool if it was similar to Affliction in that regard, you know, because this would have been nice, like just letting the guy melt while you can chase it. That would have been fantastic for a priest right about now. But honestly, he has to play the Caster Meta of the game. He has to play circles around him. He has to let him come out and whatever he wants to play. Dude, can we give Priest a bit more mobility than this? At least let him get a PvP talent that makes him super speedy. I don't know, man. Make power life powered speed, just like 20% more movement speed. At least let him be at least somewhat mobile. Boop and run. Haysher finally get Caster Meta out in the open. Hits him with a fear. Immediate trick out of Caster. Could be pretty good for Haysher, especially if you can lock him down in the stun. That's a lot of damage by the Monk. Could go for a stun. Actually, Root instead just trying to see if he can stay away from the guy. Void Torrent, but then it's going to be a full Karma to follow. Haysher needs to be very, very, very careful with this Karma, but might actually be able to fight right through it. He has a lot of self-healing. It looks like Caster Meta backs up out of there. Even though he has the Karma, I guess that thing must have gotten broken fairly early on. Trying to see if he can get back in there. Interrupting Haysher on Holy, but not on Shadow. Quick in, capture, follow, no Lexu for a while. Fear right after. Could potentially go for a full Void Eruption. If only he can get close enough for those Void Balls to do the hits. Might roll into one, barely avoided one. I am surprised he avoided one. Void Turn though, mad damage on the Caster. Does let him go in for Diffuse Magic to see if he can reverse all those dots. Ring of Peace, Boop and Haysher out of there. Kind of want to keep him next to those tentacles if possible. I don't really know if you can kind of herd Caster Meta back out in the open like this, but maybe potentially it looks like the tentacles waned off as it happened, and it's Caster just infinite mobility. It's gonna be kind of tough for Haysher in cap to follow. Does he have anything left? He actually got a lot of defenses still full disperse on everything. I wonder if there's a way he can kind of like coach Caster Meta from behind the pillar away from his ports, kind of like get super low, but kind of bait it, kind of faint low health. It just kind of put him in a bad spot. Big kicks into Haysher. Might be in a little bit of trouble. Got himself lots of self-healing. Void Torrent as the stun comes out. Wait a second. Maybe he just did exactly as I explained it. Full dots on Caster. Trying to go for a little bit of survivability. If you can get himself in front of Siphon as well. Tentacles. That could be really bad. Wait. In cap for a second. Caster looking for a port. Does he have anything left? Wait a second, maybe Haysher did exactly as I described it. Trying to go for Shadow Crusher around the corner, doesn't quite connect. Caster looking for a reset with a Karma available. Immediate Karma onto Haysher. Still has a disperse. Full Fear onto Caster. Can at least get him fully dotted up with a Mind Blast from a distance. If we could just get him in the stun or something, anything right now, that would be ideal. Could be an opportunity for disperse right now. That is Zuen, that is everything. Caster Meta is dotted though. Tentacles attacking it from around the corner. Still lots of pressure. And Haysher feeling very comfy with the disperse. Immediate leg sweep off of this one. Has a trinket right now. Does he have a stun? Stun. Trinket available for Caster Meta. If you can maybe juke out a kick from him, you'll be perfect. Into a full dots on the Caster together with a Siphon Mind Flayer to fall. It just needs a little bit more damage just to finish the duel. Fear right after. Does he have enough? Shadow Crush? Maybe. Hold on a second. Still Siphon attacking it right now with a Mind Blast. Oh my god. Oh, I was rooting for the Shadow Priest just now. I'm sorry, I try not to take sides if I can in these duels, but a Shadow Priest versus a Monk, where Monk usually wins all these, of course I'm going to be rooting for the Shadow Priest, homie. You know what I mean? Big burst by Trillvoker, though. Full setup as his Void Torrent comes out. Silence on the Trill as Haysher trying to see if he can play around the Evoker. Big damage, massive eruptions. The 40% damage buff on eruptions is actually just huge right now for the augmentation. Able to get himself quite a bit of damage, dispelling dots over himself. Trying to see if he can get some cast out blasted onto Haysher with a sleep to follow Fury instead. Haysher trying to see if he can claw back a victory. Has PI available, could maybe combine it together. Silence for a second. Got himself a kill on the Siphon for a moment. Eben might potentially big damage. Trying to see if he can avoid the breath. Probably going to be a knockup by Trill. Looking for eruptions while he's got the mobility, but eventually does want to go for upheaval. Mad damage. Oh, close down the Shadow Priest. That is just so much damage. The earth itself surrounds the guy, man. What's day to day? Yo, WAP, it's all good, my man. You can't win all of them, you know what I mean? But I'm surprised, honestly. Shadow Priest, versus a monk. I feel like that almost never happens. Trill trying to see if he can survive. Light Messiah not giving Trill the easy out whatsoever. Time skip. Is it just over? Trying to give himself survivability. 42% dampen. He got himself a bit of a shield. Blind to follow. I think it just might be a rough time for Trill right now. But he does maybe have himself more survivability. Dream projection. May want to use it. Use it maybe a little too early. Could have been perfect together with the dispel on the Hammer of Justice. Fire Breath right after. May just want to get counteroffensive with Light Messiah. He just used the bubble earlier. Upheaval to follow. Maybe they'll give you a little survivability. Try to go for a Nova, but I think it's going to be a Hand of Freedom for him. Sleep. Maybe can get it. Trying to see if he can juke out a kick. Gonna be the, oh my god, the Spell Ward. He got himself shield last second. A bit for survivability. Stun on control. Nothing he can do right now. Survival. She death with a second deep breath, maybe give himself a little bit of survivability. You just need one more cast. That is rough, man. That is rough. That is a lot of damage. It is 47% dampening though too. It is 47% dampening, and I feel like with Light Messiah bubbling at the right time, just sending all the cooldowns, it definitely gave him quite a bit of an advantage to start off that duel. As Chicago charges in versus Light Messiah, immediate Lassa with Ghost Raptors join in, but not really staying with Light Messiah. He sees the wings, he's going to respect the wings and deal with them from a distance as best as possible. As Light looking for a bit of a catch-up stun onto Chicago. Full Wake of Ashes to follow. Big damage by Light is going to go for the blinding. I gotta figure out what the name of that talent is. I just saw it, but my brain doesn't recognize the ability off the top of my head. But he does the blinding light. It's not blinding light. It is searing light, I think it is. Sears his vision for a second. I like the blinding effect, how it makes the enemy miss a couple of the hits. I think more mechanics like this could be added in the game. I feel like there's not too many of them. I think Hunters had something like that with like a net. Back in Legion, I want to say, but maybe for longer than that. As Light trying to see if he can fight through. Chicago does not have a bubble for just a second. Light allows it to follow. Big damage, I think, for Light. It might just be over. Oh, the Sunder. He actually almost survived the two as he did pop a wall, but that Sunder just done. It's over. Oh my goodness. With Tier going to be up next. Shadow Strike on Chicago. Immediate get the shot. Chicago does have a trinket. Choosing to trinket a little bit later. Wall immediately. Big ascendance. Potentially big damage. Tier does have cloak. Does have evasion. If Chicago got himself full cooldowns right now, maybe could make something happen. Mad Fist. Oh my god. Tier is done. Cheat death. Oh my lord. What is happening? Enhanced Shaman just looked at our rogue. Snapped their fingers. And the man started disintegrating in front of eyes. Picking up eyes. Oh, you need something right now. You need to get the rogue out of stealth. You need to get a rogue in combat. Kinder shot. I don't have anything unless you have a knockback. No roots. Even if you had a knockback. Shield, Spore Cloak, barely keeping you alive. So you're trying to go for eviscerates. Burrow. Oh, you find the rogue. Oh my god. There's no way you just found the. Wait, you had eyes still. That's where you found the rogue. I was gonna say like there's no way you just guessed. But no, you actually saw him. Picking up the eyes was the play. Try to catch some a bit of more health. As Speed is gonna be joining the duels as a monk is this time. Interesting, giving Chicago as much of an honored duel as possible. Chicago's walking into this one kind of sort of with some cooldowns, minus a trinket. That may put him behind because now it means the monk can go in. Full leg sweep, full combo, full go. And Chicago can't get out of this one unless he got a cooldowns. It's going to be able to knock Speed back. It's going to put a bit of a dampener into the leg sweep, not letting him execute the most amount of bursts in the go, but actually doing quite a bit of damage either way. The Chicago does have Guardians available, may want to use them as soon as possible, but I think it just might be over. Try to go, I think, for a Sunder. Yeah. As soon as you can't get out of the leg sweep immediately with a wall or something, it is rough. It's just as soon as you fall too far behind, even if you press Guardian, like, it just might not even be worth it, honestly. But Chilpo's picking up 2, Chicago picking up 2, Haysher picking up 1. It looked like he was it 1? Just the 1? I thought Haysher might have picked up 2, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. I'll need to look over it again. Let's get us another going, yeah. Onomas, onomas. I guess we do Boris versus Night King really quickly, yeah, and then we'll do Chicago versus Boris after, and then Chicago again. So Team Chicago. You guys are gonna have to wait 1 game, but then you get to play 2. This way we can like rotate the group so there's a little bit of variety. So at least like the people playing against each other are at least seeing a different team every single time. We had eyes? Okay, yeah. It took me a second. How did you find me? Yeah, he did have eyes. You can see in stealth. Yeah, so he picked up eyes, he got an opener, and I think he had eyes just for a little bit longer. To me, it looked like he guessed, but the eyes, I guess, must have lasted that long. I don't... What is it, 15 seconds did the last or something? 10-ish? I want to say close to 15. Just like ballpark. Alright, let's get ourselves Night King versus Boris here real quick. What arena do we do? Lordaeron? Chat, I need other arena suggestions. I don't want to do Tolvaron, it's way too big. You know what I mean? When you 1v1 in Call of Duty, you don't select the biggest maps, you select Rust, and you're done. We got a couple of maps that's about the size of Rust. They're doing fine, but I kind of want to add more. But I feel like there's some maps that are just kind of toxic, that just may give certain classes, primarily like rogues or feral. Don't actually have a lot of feral jids in these, do we? Not as much anymore. But rogues, maybe even monks, some advantages, like Mugambala with that like middle pillar down, just the long side of the pillar. I mean, a rogue could just reset it, just run circles around it, or like a monk could just port or dragon kick around it. Just every time you have an out, you bail. And that's too much ground to cover, and by the time you make it over the other side, you're already on the flip side. It's just like you're just basically a dog chasing cars, man. You just ain't gonna find them. But we need more maps to join in. Maybe we should do that Empyrean Domain again, the carrying one, the flashbang. But I'm not a big fan of the flashbang, just because of like, especially in the evening time. Just I want to save you guys' eyes. I don't want you to get blinded. But switch. Maybe it's worth adding that one. Blicky, wait, the name's Blicky Sticky. That's a good name. What is this? Hey, she's gonna be opening up immediately by Slasher. The guy's just not even gonna give you a chance. The man living up to the name, just absolutely making you the first victim of his crime spree, to the crime scene, as he goes in for a Cloak of Shadows, trying to see if he can just dodge any magic damage from Haster. He does have a fear available. He'll potentially use it. No more trinket for the rogue available. Trying to go for a quick route, maybe get some damage. Void Storm, but the rogue dives to a re-stealth. As long as he's avoiding those. Oh, the last void bolt does get him out in the open. Trinket out of Haster off of that cheap shot. Might have been a bad spot, but the Tentacles as well as the Siphon are adding quite a bit of damage to Slasher. Maybe in a bad of a spot. Advantage to follow, but he's still rotting, still dotting. Once you get back in there, it's thrown onto Haster. Very, very DR. Wait a second, maybe Haster has a chance right now to win with a Vampiric Touch, trying to see if he can maybe end this duel right now where Slasher has himself cheat death, trying to see if he can maximize the damage. Maybe he can live through the cheat death. Shot him out for just a second, still dotted. Shadow Strike still gets him quite a bit of extra damage. Cheat death, does he live this? Haster just goes in for a heal. He knows he won that one. He just goes in for a reset with speed. Wait, no, Sakura gonna be up next. Is just trying to see if he can get himself a go versus Haster. Charges in Haster with a Silence Void Torrent, but it's gonna be an interrupt leg sweep to follow. At this point, the Shadow Priest has nothing left. You could fear maybe a trinket out of the monk. No, instead, it's just gonna end up taking the full fear. Gonna go for full dots. Haster needs something out of this situation. Fading, I don't really know what you can fade. If you can fade maybe just like a Rising Sun Kick, I think you'll be fine. Trying to see if you can maybe... Getting interrupted on Holy might not be the worst for you. Does try to see if he can at least stabilize. He has himself Power Word Life if he ever gets super low. So at least he can maybe stabilize. Karma to follow Sakadam. Trying to see if he can get himself some damage with his Haster. Void Torrent, no interrupt available. Fear for just a second. Trinket for Sakura. And that's going to be dispersed for Haster. At least able to stabilize a little bit. Sakura does not have a Trinket anymore. This stun could be huge. Did he use Diffuse Magic? Or are you playing that one passive talent for Diffuse where you get a shield? I'm not even sure. It doesn't look like you are playing Diffuse, at least not on my bars. But Sakura legs it with the Haster, might put the Shadow Priest in a bad spot, has him some Power Word Life, maybe could use it? No, it looks like maybe just wasn't available, maybe tried to use something else instead. As Tyr gonna be up next. That was a close one, actually really could have been a 2-0 for the Shadow Priest as well. As Tyr gonna be up next. Gouge immediately onto Sakura is gonna be a Ring of Peace, booping him out of the way, trying to see if he can stay on top of the monk. Mad Secret Technique damage. Cheap Shot maybe? Just needs an Eviscerator too. Needs a good crit. Trinkets out of the Pandurational. Cheap Shot to follow. Sakura does get murdered right now by the Rogue with Kevin charging in next. Doesn't even have like proper wings. I think it's just a proc wings for him. As soon as Sakura goes down, trying to see if he can take that wings momentum of event. I guess, what is that passive that makes wings like proc whenever an ally is it Retribution Aura? It might actually be Retribution Aura. Whenever like somebody dies in your party or in your group raid, you got wings for a couple of seconds, and it's the Crusader wings too. It is so good, but Tyr is able to avoid that entirely. Kevin does have eyes available on either side. Looks like Tyr is going to charge up. Immediate stun onto the Rogue. I'm not sure if he was trying to go for a killing shot on the opener, but definitely was a dampener on those plans. Kevin just unleashing full might of the Retribution Paladin. Tyr does go in for Shadow Strike's evasion available. Vanish to follow as soon as he sees blessings of protection. And Kevin keeping himself plenty healthy and plenty afloat. Might just want to go for the eyes while wings are active. And Tyr looking to get himself a bit of cover behind the tombstone. But if Kevin is careful, he does pick up eyes. Wait, Hold on, he does pick up eyes. Wait, Kevin, look, wait, it's in front of you. No. Kevin, that was so much of your damage. I was expecting for you just to hit the guy, get him back out of stealth, and use that Crusade to build up momentum to absolutely blast the rogue to smithereens, but apparently, I guess he just didn't notice. I guess it is also difficult to see stealthies even if you pick up eyes, because they're still like, you know, not completely visible. They are a little faded. You can't really see the health bars above their head, so you gotta be careful. Tier does still get slammed down by Kevin either way. Was that a cheat death? I think he got cheated on cheat death, unless he procced it a lot earlier. I'll need to go back and look, but I think you honestly didn't get a cheat death. Is this EU or NA? Sad, today is NA. We do them over on a Saturdays for NA, Fridays over for the EU. You're more than welcome to join either one of them whenever we do them. Kevin tried to see if he can get himself in a decent setup versus Speed. Just uses Crusade. He got some cooldowns to work with. Ballistic protection not up, but Bubble is available. Is going to use it pretty aggressively. Speed does trick it out of the stun, but now Kevin no longer has any kind of immunities whatsoever. Speed just casted Vivify just to keep himself afloat. Karma to follow, just trying to see keep himself alive. It looks like that self-heal play might have been the right move. Shield Defendant's available for Kevin together with the wall. Does go in for a blind. Just trying to see if he can play super careful on Speed, as he is playing into not the Serenity build or Serenity, either Serenity or Serenity, but he is playing into Images instead. So he has him a lot more often, up a lot more often. As Kevin tried to live this, does give him some wings for a moment with the lane hands. Maybe can maximize some damage. It needs a little bit of ramp up for those Crusade. Lexi by Speed, I think he's just trying to see if we can take him out before the ramp up can happen. Blicky Sticky is going to be up next as a Frosty Mage versus Speed, as well as Light Messiah in the back at Chill Pills. So he's got himself a hell of a competition right now. The Speed trying to go for a little bit of recovery. Flurries are doing quite a bit of damage right now. He's going to go for Novas. As Speed, I think, is actually just trying to get him interrupted. I think he's actually casting Vivifies just to see if he can get kicked. But right now, whatever Vivifies he can get is actually super helpful. Blicky does get interrupted on Frost Fire, with a Fire Breath is going to be up next. I don't think Ring of Fire actually connects with him. Or maybe it does. It looks like he's burning into big damage. Blink and Trinkets, I don't really know if you really necessarily needed to. I think your damage was already set in stone, but does end up using it, but may lead to his downfall later on. He's just trying to see if he can live. Light Messiah, it's going to be bit of that ulti time available, but you could get super low. You don't have the cheat death like a Fire Mage, so you better be extra careful. Does get himself a shield. Looks like he's going to reverse it. Light Messiah getting zapped down by the beam. Glacier Spike to follow. May need a bubble for this one. That's a lot of damage. Blicky might just want to go for an ice block. It's just in a tight spot, and Light Messiah looking for the recovery at the 32 percentile of the dampening. This is going to be Frostballs. Blicky popping out of the ice block really early. I don't know if he's got a lot of, again, Ring of Fire looked like it was going to do something weird, but it didn't. Light Messiah is surrounded by a lot of AoE damage. When is he just going to die to AoE? He's trying to see if he can back away from the card, because it's just a blizzard, it's a hailstorm, it's a little tornado, fire, rain, and frost and everything. Oh, Blicky does sneak around for a quick lance, and it looks like Chilled maybe gives him an honor duel. He's watching him. Looks like he's giving him. He grants him access to an honor duel. He lets him earn his keep in the 5v5 dueling arena. Blicky has a chance here, a solid. Blicky, are you running shift and power? I actually have to think about shift and power, so I started using the hand motion of just like AoE. If you're not running shift and power, you might actually be in a kind of a tight spot. You may want to use that cold snap as soon as possible then. There we go. Cold Snap is used just to make sure he can get himself the ice block available at all times. Does get interrupted for a second. Ring of Frost, Silence to follow. May just need to burn the ice block super early, and does use it. That is an Army of Undead. The thing is, though, the Army of Undead is a very short cooldown. This has for the Arbiter. That's like the only one that's kind of long. So Ice Block is going to be good for the Arbiter, but it may not be that great for the rest of the army. This is going to be Chill, just gripping him back in. Blicky does get himself a little bit of survivability, has him this very soon. Maybe can use Images right now. He does need to get Chill Pills away from him as soon as possible. Blink it away, Ring of Fire is down. Got himself at least a little bit of shields. May just want to go offensive, full Mongo damage if possible, but I think it just might be over. Got himself an Invis for just a second. Death and Decay gets him out in the open though. Unless Blicky got a shield, I think it's over. I think it's just done. I think the Dotson as well as the Pennant is going to take him, yeah? Yeah, just surrounded. Literally in the graveyard. Can't go anywhere. You don't really have a lot of escapes. But it's just rough. Let's get us another one going here, boys, yeah? That was really close, though. Man, it's just rough. It's just really rough. A couple of guys accidentally AFK'd and it kicked them. Wait, from that match? From that one? Match? That's unfortunate. Wait, from that match? Look at AFK'd. I didn't even pay attention. Chicago's ready for 5. Boris, let me know if you're ready. I think it's Boris and... Or is it Night King? Have Night King and Chicago dueled each other already? Or was it... I'm trying to remember who dueled. I think it was Chicago and Boris. And then we did Night King and Boris. Now it's Chicago and Night King. Okay. Sorry. Just had to literally voice my thoughts here. I'm trying to remember like who's on whose team. But I think Tier is on the team with Boris. Because Tier and Chicago fought. And it was just like the big one shot. And he does the burrow thing. And then Tier just got to play again, so it might have been Boris and Night King. So I think it's these two, and then we go back like this. If that makes any sense. Hopefully, I know I'm like not really fully vocalizing my full thoughts. I'm just kind of vocalizing half of them, but that's about how my brain is functioning. That's about the best I can do right now. It makes sense in my head. Hey, Dueling Palace is a rogue. Bro, it is rough. I'll tell you right now. As Owla in particular, because I feel like all I do is physical damage, and they got bubble and then bop. At least it's like sub. You used to have, I guess, Gloomblade, right? When you played that, I don't know if you, I guess you could build for Gloomblade right now, but you used to like chip away through Gloomblade, and you had that Nightblade ability, which is like your Rupture, but like a shadow version. And then also as Assassination, you could like throw daggers and put a poison on him at the very least to like hit him with crippling and back away, or just sepsis them with a Vendetta tier set back in like SL. Sepsis, just get him super low, they bop, and they're still melted to sepsis because you had it in a pretty shit version. Oh, it is satisfying. And now I thought like to myself, oh, Kingsbane, imagine if I had Kingsbane back then. Although like the Kingsbane and sepsis just don't feel nearly as effective as like sepsis back at SL was. Should be Chicago Boris. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's get you guys up and running then, and we'll get Boris after that again versus Chicago. Sorry, just trying to keep track of everything, and I'm just like really bad at it. What maps have we not? We haven't done Dalaran Sewers in so long. Let's do a Dalaran Sewers, man. With triple SS, Sepsis chilled. He never stood a chance. Oh really? Chicago's team last match was chilled. Okay. But yeah, remember triples the Sepsis plays with Assas? It was cheesy, man, but I kind of liked it. It was the first time that I saw, at least from what I remember, Sepsis being like really, or Nightfare Rogue being really good. Because it like you could play it, but like Necrolord was really solid. Carrion was really solid for a good bit. Vanthier got really good, especially if you were playing the Bursty build. And like Sepsis were just there, but like I remember Naj was playing around with it, making it work early. But then it's like you just played Necrolord or Carrion or something more meta, something a little bit stronger. But I'm sure like there was somebody out there that was just like, you know what, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna go against the grain. But I don't remember it being like super, you know what I mean. Alright, we got Chill, we got the boys, we got ourselves, everybody in the Team Chicago. Beautiful. Sorry, I'm just saving stuff on my end. Switch. Magma Rice HC, no items drop. Dude, yeah, they changed it. Tier items drop less often on bosses. More non-tier items drop. That's an intentional change, actually. Believe it or not. Gonna be speed charging out over onto the Rogue. I do like that set, man. The show just looks so good. Chicago's gonna be the first one meeting him in the arena. Got himself the Thundering axes and everything. It looks so good. Tier over on that team 1, as well as Light Messiah Haster, as well as Shield Pills in the back versus Caster Meta over on team 2 in the back. We got Conan, we got us as Torvis waiting his turn, as well as... Wait, are you just stuck there? We got you. We got Trill just like just piping over there, dude. Gonna be big damage out of speed with an invasion to follow. DFA trying to see if he can maybe avoid some damage. Maybe a Sunder out of Chicago is gonna go for a quick gouge. Able to get quite a lot of cooldowns out of, quite a decent amount of damage onto Chicago. Not too many cooldowns. I was honestly expecting to see a wall, but it's only the Guardian instead. Speed taking quite a bit of damage though. Chicago able to toss up with the Rogue pretty well. Guardian, the Earth and Elemental, is not gonna let you catch a quick reset all that easily. As Speed trying to see if he can get himself a better setup. Gouge out of Chicago, maybe setting up for a kidney shot. Chicago better have someone for this next kidney shot. Blind instead? Wait, no. Wait, yes. Hold on, did you break it right after? You blinded? I think you went for a vanish. Maybe you broke it and you noticed it and you were out. Wait, it's still out of the pipe? Yeah. No longer pipe. I didn't know Evokers could do that. That is hilarious. Speed does get himself a full reset though. I think he's gonna end up waiting Chicago and the Guardian. No, instead gonna pop out a little bit early. A lot of times you see Rogue just kind of waited out entirely, which is like takes forever. But I do appreciate a Rogue that just goes in there either way. Trying to see if he can build some calm points. Next get a shot could be really, really deadly. Does have himself a couple of charges of dance, but Chicago trying to see if he can take initiative. Sepsis on a speed. Hold on a second. I was just talking about Sepsis. This man using a massive secret technique. Going to be a burrow down. Knocking speed for just a second. Sunder right after. Does he have the big damage? Gouge to follow speed. Trying to see if he can bail out of that. Does not have a vanish. Is going to have to tussle with Chicago. Cloak of Shadows might have the cloak with the Veil of Midnight, which gives him a little bit of that physical protection as well as the magical DFA to follow. Trying to see if he can maximize the damage. Get a shot right after. Still got himself one more charge of dance, so maybe can make a big play off of this one. Just needs a couple of crits. Gouge to follow, at least making sure he's maximizing the control over Chicago. Buys himself as much time as possible. Looking to escape out of this one. Does have a vanish coming back up very, very soon. We'll need to use it as soon as possible. Vanish is up. Does Chicago find him at all? Is just gonna have to go for a little bit of healing of speed. Finally get himself a bit of a breather. Chicago has the choice right now. Pick up the eyes or wait out the Rogue and pick it up the eyes, especially if you got the advantage, especially if you're ahead. Definitely is the play. Lightning Lasso to follow. Won't be enough to take down the Rogue. Trying to see if he can go for Sunder, but a shadow step by the Rogue does get to avoid it. Get a shot, reverse it back to Chicago with a cheap shot right after. Got himself evasion for a little bit longer. Chicago needs to zap out speed. It's going to be a Rogue going for a bit of a reset. DFA right after, trying to avoid as much damage out of Chicago, but I think the Shaman does have him locked in though. As soon as that evasion runs out, it is rough. With Chill Bill's going to be up next. Does he give Chicago? Almost gives him a proper honor duel, but does definitely want to put some pressure into the Shaman. Chicago is coming back into this one with the wall together with Guardian, Trinket available, everything up. It's going to be full Ascendance, just trying to see if he can match Chill's energy. Full cooldowns for full cooldowns, ramping up big hits. It's going to be mad damage on Chill's, just barely surviving this. May have to rotate every single defense, is still on the cusp of death either way. Short stun on Chicago for just a moment. Ascendance finally waning. Does Chicago still have the pressure? Chill's just trying to see if he can claw at Chicago from a distance. It looks like he's able to capitalize on that victory. Storm's charging out. Got himself full crusade, trying to see if he can maximize the damage. Chill just letting the ghouls attack him, letting that ramped up army do a little bit of work, chip away at the Paladin's defenses. As Shield looking for a bit of an escape, blind onto Torvis, trying to see if he can get himself a bit of a better setup. He does have some defenses coming back in. He needs to be very careful when he uses an AMS for those wings. It is going to be full Crusade. You definitely want to try to see if you can avoid Torvis's Crusade, Shield of Vengeance, and everything as best as you can. You'll probably have to play it slow and steady. Big Chain of Ice, let him keep him at bay, let the Army of the Dead do work, and just try to see if you can avoid him. Hand of Freedom for the Paladin for just a second. Next kidney shot could be really, really deadly, especially as the man is building up quite a bit of resources. Final rank, you know this man wants to go in. He's out for blood. He wants to take down the abomination that is the Death Knight. Silence on a Torvis. The Shilpa is able to approach him. May just have to go for big defenses either way though. IBF might just be have to be used right now. Torvis still has a bubble. Spell Ward instead. Wait a second, you can maybe go for some physical damage. He's not completely all shadow damage. He could go for physical damage to take down Torvis. AMS is available, avoiding a lot of the Paladin's defense, offensive holy power. Wait a second, maybe Shilpa still comes out on top. Torvis catching up a little bit of healing. Hammer's thrown in. Death back for just the last second. Gives him a little bit of health and doesn't have taken him out. Oh my god, the Spell Warden. Normally it is so effective against magic classes, but I almost forgot that Unholy Death Knight isn't just completely all shadow damage. You actually do have a pet. You do have physical hits that you are hitting. A lot of your damage is going to be clone shadows and death bolts from a distance, but when you get a melee, I believe your Apocalypse is actually full melee damage, full physical damage. Is it not, or is it shadow? I don't even remember. But Caster Mid is not going to let Shilpa survive the next go. Got himself full burst available. Actually, no. He's holding a lot of his bursts, but he's not really giving him any opportunity to recover at the very least. So I am corrected. In cap, as he just wants to add Shilpa's really quickly, probably going to be touch death here too in just a moment. Or does he save it for the next competitor? Fist of Fury does have to cancel it. Shilpa's still surviving this, and Caster Meta could just commit cooldowns, but he knows he doesn't want to. Wait a second, he does get slowed. Went Karma last second. Silencer followed Shilpa's. He can't fight through Karma right now. He can't do it, but he does get a lot of cooldowns out of Caster Meta either way, though. Does Caster Meta just stay his hand and not use anything? Chills needs heals right now. That, or he needs some kind of CC onto Caster. Maybe blind, anything at all. He doesn't have a lot of health whatsoever. Pre-AMS is available, but a touch of death. He does end up committing touch of death either way, though. My goodness. Honestly, it looked like Chilpos maybe was going to Clawing Shadows that one back towards the top. But that's a rough one. Is it up next, like Messiah? Is it going to be Tier or is it Haster? It looks like it just might be Haster. He's looking around waiting, like, is anybody going? Do I have to fight a monk again? Please don't make me fight a monk again. Last time these two fought, man, Caster Meta with the mobility, just running circles. Haster has to be the man of patience, the man of God right now. Just patiently wait until he gets himself a right opportunity just to erupt everything over Caster Meta. It took so long too, honestly. It took a bit. Can he do it again? That's the question. It is much higher dampening, and I feel like that dampening probably benefits Caster Meta much more than it benefits Haster. Most like, is he just gonna wait? Because Caster Meta is fun waiting. He's just waiting for karma. I guess for Haster he could chase, but like you're not gonna catch up to the guy. You're a shadow priest. It's just not gonna happen. This is silent Mexican. The silent Mexican standoff. It is the Mexican standoff, isn't it, dude? Right, literally that's what it is. And I think Caster Meta is actually gonna wait until the dots are fully off of him, isn't he? Oh, come on, man. Alright, he's just trying to make sure he wins this one, I think. Really? Oh. Man. You know how we complain about rogues just sitting in stealth forever until all the cooldowns are up? I mean, this kind of stuff is basically on a similar level of annoyance for me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of it. I hate how it slows down the pacing. Like, I love when games are just fast paced. Go, go, go. And then you just get like a big old breather like this. Oh man, I feel like it takes the wind out of me. It just kicks the momentum out of my feet. It doesn't feel the same anymore. Lex super to Haster, got himself a trinket immediately. Zuen joined in as a full burst setup for Caster. Does trinket to break himself out of the psychic scream. It is going to be Haster, no help whatsoever. Mage is going to go for disperse, barely alive. Oh, just fights the disperse. It doesn't even, what the? Oh, come on, Douglas, what was that BM? Stun into Caster Meta's Light Messiah is going to go for full wings. Fist of Fury available, is going to be able to remove the dots, but it's going to put him in a Horrify effect. Trying to see if he can go for a port away from Light Messiah. Probably going to go for a port yet again, unless he doesn't have the town set up properly. He's trying to see if he can bail out of there. Looking for a big kicks, big rolls over. My god, I forgot just how good Dalaran Sewers is for monks. You could reposition from one pillar to the next. Just a couple of rolls as well as a dragon kick. It is incredibly good. Maybe that's why we haven't done this arena in a good while, huh? But Caster Meta, try to see if he can avoid Light Messiah. Maybe you can use Hand of Freedom to help him catch up at all. In cap to follow as Caster, trying to get himself a little bit of survivability. Yeah, he can just run circles. Yeah, I think we might just... Chad, honestly, we might just have to remove Dalaran Sewers. It's been a bit since we've done it. And I was like, why? But now we're playing it. I'm starting to think maybe that's why initially I just kind of stopped doing it. Stun next onto Caster. Does have a karma for this one. Blind by Light Messiah, looking for Searing Glare and trying to maybe just fight through the karma. If you could just fight through karma with the shield advantage, that would have been perfect. Gonna be Caster bailing out of the entirely. Dragon kick together with a couple of rolls. Gonna be big hammers flying in from a distance. Isn't enough though. Gets him super low, but not quite enough. In cap last second. Light Messiah bubbles it just to finish off Caster. He doesn't even want to fight around it. Doesn't want to find out what's going on. Oh no, man. Oh no. Oh no. Charge out by Conan. Up next versus Light Messiah. Got himself full big burst versus the Paladino with a full, got himself big old bleed. Disarm to follow, stun right after the storm. But Light Messiah does maybe lay on hands. Maybe. I think it's done. I think the bubble maybe sealed his fate with a forbearance. I didn't expect for it to last that long, really. I always keep just 30 seconds forbearance, but every single time that I've had a paladin use it against me, every time I feel like it feels shorter than it really is. But it just like, that's not the case. It is still 30 seconds. It just always feels like it's shorter. Tier is going to be up next versus Conan. Immediate defensive by the warrior. Does land a stun onto the rogue. Able to break past his defensive for just a second. Cloak of Shadows blind as well as advantage. That's a lot of cooldowns for Tier. Normally you get a lot of cooldowns out of a rogue. That is huge. But with how rogues can just go for proper resets and everything, it's just not the same. Shadow Strike to follow into a shockwave. Is Conan trying to see if he can just keep in front of Tier as best as possible? Picking up eyes, I don't think on purpose, but does end up helping him if AC sees a vanish out of rogue. Smoke bomb a little bit late. Tyr might just want to escape this one as soon as possible. Does he have shadow steps? Has himself evasion, trying to see if he can stay around with Conan with that evasion. Stormbolt for just a second, but doesn't quite find him. Bleed perfectly right on top of the rogue, forcing him out of stealth. Has himself no more vanishes available. I think he might just stab him right here. Cheat that last second. Kidney shot. This is your last chance here, but I think Conan is going to be able to take it down with a rampage at the end. My goodness. Let's get us another one going here. No. Series is good, Dal. Short maps are great. Oh, for sure. I do agree with you on that. It's just, I feel like, I don't know. I guess, like, even though I'm a rogue player, I do have, like, almost like an anti-rogue bias in terms of duels. I just feel like certain maps where classes could just reset constantly, that whole pacing of the game slows down and it just becomes a little bit less entertaining, so I try to avoid them. I probably should throw in a couple more Dalaran series in it just for the sake of variety, though. I will. I think I'll just start throwing them in. But if I get annoyed, you know why? I hate the pacing breaks, you know. Flex is banned. YouTube chat. Could you just ban him? Wait, why is Flex banned? So Flex, it's not an easy thing. I can't just like type in YouTube chat like /unban Flex. I actually have to go through an entire process. If you DM me what your YouTube name is, then I can find you later tonight. Why are you banned? Did you say something? Huh. Like a while ago or whatever? I don't know why you'd be banned. What'd you do? I bought Remnant 2, waiting for it to finish downloading. I heard it's really good if you like the guns and Dark Souls kind of play and feel. Full group, by the way. Also, Chicago, let me know if you're ready, because we'll get you up next. Were these logs out loud? That's the thing. I don't think there's logs. Oh, XPM, how you doing? I get to kill a red. Okay, sounds good, my guy. Yeah, we can totally do it. Yeah, I don't. So there's no logs like there was on Twitch, which I think honestly YouTube needs to add something like this. I wish you could see it. It's kind of like because there's only like one person I could think of that might have banned him, but I just don't know what Flex would have said. I don't think Flex has ever said anything. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe I should coach it. But Flex generally has been a really nice homie, and I don't remember having like a bad time with Flex whatsoever, at all. So I need to find him again, see if I can unban him. But yo, Flex, send me a DM on Discord. Just hit me up with like your account or YouTube name, and I can see if I can find you and see if I can like unban you. Is it ban or is it the other ban? Because there's two bans on YouTube. Let's do Nagrand again. I like Nagrand. It's a solid arena. I love Remnant from the Ashes. The first one is pretty good. I thought it was cool. I didn't play it, but I watched the guy play it, and it was really, really awesome to watch. Again, I'm not someone who really plays a lot of like Dark Souls games, so I'm just really bad at them. Really, really bad at them. I love the idea of like boss fights, and I think it's really, really cool. I did end up picking up not Dark Souls, but Elden Ring on PlayStation, and I was having a lot of fun with it. I didn't get super far, but I was having a ton of fun with it. I did a couple of side bosses, but not too many of the main bosses. Never actually beat the game. But if I just haven't spent too much time on the couch. I usually just like I had a phase where I tried to just spend as much time away from my PC as I could, unless I'm doing work and stuff. So that's usually what I would just do, is like for an hour or two, just have dinner and then play a little bit of Elden Ring, just get a little bit of progress or whatever. It was so fun exploring though. I found this like shrine with like frozen dragons turned to stone or whatever, but like still lively, but they're all stone, and there's like something you can do to sacrifice a thing. I never figured out what to do with it. I'm sure it's something you like Metroidvania, figure it out, get the item, come back for it later. But I never really progressed super far. Switch. Got ourselves Blicky Sticky over on the team one. Not first up, DJ Flex on that team waiting his turn. Kevin, we got ourselves Nagataro as an arcane mage charging out. Looks like trying to get himself a bit of a setup versus. Oh, you're just gonna pop out of nowhere over next Chicago. Oh, I was gonna say it looked like you were trying to go for a honor duel, like a little bow, but instead meeting him with a breath off the bat. Big burst in the opener. Chicago with a quick root, trying to see if he can slink behind the pillar, but not gonna happen with an arcane mage who just got blinks. Are you playing shimmers or are you playing normal blinks? I guess it's hard to tell because that was a reverse blink. That wasn't like a normal blink or anything. It's gonna be a totem down for Nagataro. He needs to find a way to destroy the totem if he wants to leave this prison away from Chicago. Is able to blast it out at the very end. I'm gonna be switching to the wrong person. I'm telling you right now. Telling you right here, Ghost Raptors, actually you can see Chicago switching out for a different build compared to the Ascendance thing you were going for before. Now you're playing more of that elemental enhancement with a little bit more of that reach, a little bit more of that range damage. Nagatoro getting hit with yet another root. As Chicago leaps right in, it's going to be a little bit of that reverse blink or all the time. I'm not even sure which one. Wait, hold on. You still are altered. I thought you're still going to end up next to Chicago unless you cancel it. Was that the plan? Does have a blink really early. Perfect opportunity for Chicago to go for a big old Lassa. Nagatoro not really looking all that healthy. Big Alien Blast from distance does get him some shields. Interrupt him on the polymorph. Chicago just needs a little bit more momentum to get himself a good go. Big Thunder. Nagatoro does end up going for the Iceberg before he crumbles down to dust in front of him. Over on Team Chicago, we also got ourselves Trill in the back, stretching his wings. Torvus, we got ourselves Xe Spam. I do like the beating, by the way. It looks so good. As well as Conan waiting their turns. Big burst off by the Arcane Mage, but isn't able to get himself a full go just yet. The totem does that and disrupt him, able to grip the Mage back towards him as soon as he goes in for any kind of burst. I do love that group with the totem, the static totem, how you can reposition it, and it kind of boops the enemy away. From what I remember, it does take a little bit of practice to get it right. But it is so good whenever it works. Big reversal for the Mage. Does end up going right into a Sunder right after. Breath onto Chicago, looking for a bit of a polymorph and a little bit of a reset. Shifting power to give yourself a little bit extra cooldowns. Got yourself offenses, but not a lot in terms of defenses. So right now, it's a bit of a dire situation. I think you have to somehow find a way to give yourself maybe a little bit of survivability and turn it around and going for as much damage in Chicago, like an all-in haymaker, trying to see if you can get yourself a bit of a reset. Blink yet again. LA Blast does get you super low. If you have a flame shock on you, I think that just might take you out. It's going to be a reverse blink back. Does Chicago have any more Maelstrom? Oh my god, if only you had one more elemental blast and ready to go. Does somehow juke out from the breath. Blink available for the Mage, still all the time available. I think you may just want to cancel it unless you got a breath ready for Chicago or anything at all. Trying to go for a knock. Chicago does get a dodge and LA Blast does end up taking it out. That is so rough, man. Once he gets super behind like this, it is not a fun time. Blick is going to be up next. Trying to go, I think, for an honor duel with Chicago potentially. Maybe? Frostbolton? Chicago tried to see if he can go for an honor duel, but no. Instead, just getting bolted instead. Blinking does go in for roots. Wants to make sure there's plenty of distance away from Chicago. Trying to make Chicago run through the blizzard as well as the ring of fire and the frozen orb. You get trifecta, blizzard on one area, orb on the other. Just trying to see if you can cover as much ground as you can with every single magical effect. Big spikes into Chicago, able to pierce right through his defenses. Frostbolts to follow as Chicago makes a retreat towards the pillar. There is a frosty elemental stacking up quite a bit of damage for Blicky. Right now, he's got a lot of opportunity to make some damage up. A big ray of frost off of a flurry. Chicago's in a bad spot. Wait a second. Oh my goodness. What was that? Was that a Battle Master trick that fell off? Because it looked like it took a big chunk of damage, unless it was just a random crit at the very end. I think that it looked like a Battle Master fell off as he got hit for a huge hit. And it just makes it look so much worse than it really was. Gonna be Blicky with yet another root. Burrow down for Chicago. Blicky, if he's got mobility, he might be okay. Knockup is gonna get him out in the open into a Sunder for just a second. But he does get himself random bloodless for just a moment. Frostbolts to follow. If Chicago can disrupt him on Frost, he'll be in a good spot. Trying to see if he can make a retreat. Gonna be yet another flurry, but doesn't have too much Frost damage to keep chasing after Chicago. It's gonna be an interrupt on the Frost. Maybe Chicago can make a big play off of this one. Does he have enough resources? Glacier Spike right after. Does end up moving him over and is able to grip him away, disrupting his cast for just a moment. Big Ascendance, ran the proc for Chicago. Do they maybe get a chance right here? As long as Blicky doesn't cast a Frost spell at you, he might just be okay. Big, oh my god, I was gonna say maybe one more Windstrike would do the trick. Chicago needs Maelstrom right now. Ground and Totem in case Blicky comes out of Cell or comes out of Ice Block. That is so good for the Shaman currently. My goodness, Chicago chasing Blicky with a quick root. Just trying to see if he can maybe plink some damage over at Chicago while keeping him at a distance, keeping him at an arm's reach. Elemental Totem joining in. As there's going to be a breath right around the corner. Volley onto Chicago as they do burn a trick. It may be a little bit early. For Blicky, it's a pretty decent situation. Maybe can make some damage happen. Does get interrupted on Frost. Does he have anything to follow? Knocked back, but it's going to be leaped back by the Shaman into a Sunder right after. Chicago just needs a little bit more Maelstrom. If Blicky is out in the open without a shield, it's just going to be death. Into a second Ice Block. Does force that out. Honestly, I thought Hypothermia buff might have still been, or debuff rather, might have still been active, denying Blicky yet another Ice Block, yet another encasing to cool off for a moment. moment. Totem not letting you go anywhere at all. You got to target the totem. You got to find a way to deal with Chicago. It is a lot of things you got to deal with all at once. Ice Lance is getting thrown in back to back, and Chicago tried to see if he can get some damage onto Blinky, leaping in right in. Sunder, not enough. It's going to be a reversal with, I think, all the time. No, just a normal reversal. Not a lot of health gain right now. Blinky, no health. Does he just die to Earth Elemental? Hold on a second. Flame Shock? Is it over? Does get him a shield last second. Oh no, for Chicago. Time is running out. He's got himself a little bit of the dampening he's got to deal with. The faster you get over there, the better. Does go in for a burrow, trying to see if he can pick up some damage on the Blinky. Does go for the knockup. Does get it with a Sunder. Nothing he could do. I think Blinky maybe was trying to see if he could time a blink at the right time. That or he just didn't have a blink available anymore. Lightning last one to Kevin. Does go for the trinket. Does not want to give Chicago a way out, but he does miss the war stop as Chicago rounds the bend around the pillar. Wall barely keeping him alive, but he's still trucking, still hanging in there somehow. Needs some extra defenses. Maybe can use the totem in order to keep Kevin Landers at bay. Needs Maelstrom right now. He's got 5 seconds left on the Guardian, able to catch up a little bit of healing. But it's going to be a rough situation to be in. Either way, though, big damage by Kevin onto Chicago. Bubble to fall, and Chicago cannot respond whatsoever. Maybe go for grounding to stop a stun. That's about all the best you can do right now. Does go for the Guardian, and maybe have yourself some kind of damage to follow. Try to go for whatever heal he can. Sunder doesn't quite connect. This is where grounding total would have been amazing, but you got to basically predict it. But how are you going to do that? Unless you can literally read into the future, that's rough. Trill gonna be up next. Big go versus Kevin. Does himself maybe a magic immunity? It looks like he does massive eruptions onto Kevin, just trying to see if he can chase after the Paladin. The Paladin got nothing left unless you got yourself Spell Warden. I think, oh my god, what was that at the end? Was that just like an eruption together with a claw? That was a lot of damage all at once at the very end. Got himself quite a bit of executes, huh? As DJ gonna be up next, trying to see if he can slay the Dragon Stun right around the corner. Got himself full Death Chakra. It is gonna be pretty high dampening. So for Trill Boker, it might be a pretty bad situation to be in. That's a lot of healing reduction. Plus, if you got yourself the pet that has a Mortal Strike effect on top of it, it's gonna be a lot of pain. And DJ Flex can use his CC as well as immunities and cooldowns to try to see if he can counter Trill. It's gonna have to walk through every single trap. For DJ Flex, as long as he's next to a pillar, Trill's gonna have to play the Trapper game the entire time. Trill could try to see if he can maybe bail out of there, maybe force DJ Flex to reposition. I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to get DJ Flex away from pillar. DJ charging out from so long distance, try to go for a sleep onto the Hunter, leaping back away from the pillar. Perfect opportunity for Trill to maybe get some damage in. Got himself fully buffed up and ready to go, trying to go for a bit of a heal. Fire Breath or whatever, doesn't get the big damage. Full Death Chakra onto Trill, might be in a really bad spot right now. Got himself a little bit of shield survivability. Trinket out of DJ, trying to go for a sleep, finally able to get himself a little bit of healing, looking for recovery. Wall available. Living Flame got himself a bit damage onto DJ Flex. He's going to go for acceleration. Trill needs as much recovery as possible right now. Whatever healing you can get, the better. Got himself Dream Projection in case it's a freezing trap. DJ Flex got himself plenty of manic battles to heal up, and Trill might just have to do the same thing. Reposition to another pillar and try to see if he can catch DJ Flex away from any kind of these traps. Is going to end up walking into the freezing trap. Perfect opportunity for DJ to have himself a go. Stun available. If he got himself a Death Chakram as well, he'll be in a great spot. Trill, try to see if he can maybe run through all these traps now, get him out of the way, and maybe get some damage of his own going. He got himself full burst available and is looking to reposition, but maybe not. Maybe trying to punish DJ. The random instant cast of Living Flames do actually quite a bit of damage. Stun onto Trill does go in for a deep breath potentially. Trying to see if he can set up a big deep breath into a freezing trap as Oppressive Roar is on DJ, looking for a little bit of heals. But maybe deep Oppressive Roar is still on him, because the next deep breath could be really, really dangerous. DJ does not have a trinket anymore. So for Trill, if he's got something here available, maybe he just needs to slow down DJ Flex for just a second. Try to see if he can claw after him. Looking for that Ebon Might. Maybe this will be enough. Full Fire Breath. Maybe this will be a perfect opportunity. Does go in. Try to see if he can slam him down. It's going to be a freezing trap right after. Trill able to recover a little bit of health while getting some aggression onto DJ. Able to claw away at the Hunter. But the Turret Trap, freezing trap, skill trap, there's just not much you can really do in this type of situation. Trying to avoid the Trill Boker as best as you can. Roar doesn't quite connect. Or maybe that was a wing buffet? I'm not even sure. Want to stream on Twitch? I used to stream on Twitch, but it just doesn't work out for me super well. So YouTube, I prefer it much better. I maybe might try it in the future, but Twitch will have to make a lot of changes at this point. It's been a thing, man. It's been not fun to watch what they've been doing over the years. Been kind of weird. stunned by Trill onto Trill. It's going to be full ebb and might. Maybe Deep Breath does connect with DJ. It's going to go for a trinket. Trying to see if he can stabilize right here. This is one more big upheaval. Trying to see if he can stay ahead of the Hunter as best as possible. Upheaval, stunning him for just a second. Does he have enough damage? Trying to see if he can get himself a little bit of healing, a little bit of a catch up. And it looks like he's able to stabilize even a little. DJ Flex with a Manic Bandage, going to be living flames for Trill as he's looking for a bit of a reheal. Full burst out of the Evoker, but it wasn't enough. The Hunter was barely able to survive it. But Trill, I think, should be able to get a little bit more survivability over DJ as he's trying to reposition to another side of the pillar, and it's going to have all the traps laden for Trill. If he can somehow avoid these, he'll be in a great spot. Big time skip, so it gives him an opportunity to have another big damage go. As long as he can avoid a freezing trap, he might be okay. That, or if he can maybe run into a freezing trap while he's got a astral projection, then maybe that can work. But right now, you definitely need to have yourself a better angle versus DJ. Unless you can randomly find him. He's out in the open with a Manic Bandage, trying to see if he can chase after the Hunter. May just have to pick up the eyes. And for DJ, that's a perfect opportunity, sending out the pet pretty early on. But honestly, better for him just to wait in that camo for as long as humanly possible. It's going to get a tag up on the Trill. Stun in the opener. Death Shock him. Perfect opportunity for DJ to maybe make some damage happen. Trill playing the super defensive. Dream Projection. Got himself at least a little bit of that survivability. Is going to be able to get himself a little bit of healing over time. Trying to charge around the traps. Does he know that there's a freezing trap waiting right around this corner? As long as he doesn't use it inside of his cooldowns. As long as he doesn't use TDs and then run into freezing trap. He might actually be kind of okay. Trying to avoid him, yet another freezing trap waiting for him. Oh my god, the amount of traps. But looks like the pet is keeping him kind of in play. Trill trying to go for Ebb and Might. Maybe can go for Big Deep Breath. Doesn't quite connect with DJ Flex. That is super unfortunate. Good reposition by the Hunter. Trying to see if he can chase after him. Steel Trap available. Full burst of the Evoker is up as DJ finally got himself yet another Manic Bandage. He needs as much survivability as possible with yet more freezing traps waiting for him. That is super unfortunate. Oh my god. There's so many so many traps. It is a lot though. You gotta be GJ Flex trying to see if he can make himself a big play. Stun on the Trill, has himself a trinket. Breath is gonna be a turtle shell. I think Trill at this point, I don't know how much health you really can work with. Got himself a little bit of survivability. Cheat death, but it's not healing you for anything at 72% dampening. DJ just trying to see if he can run the game for as long as possible. X spam charges in, blasts him out, and the man just bleeds out at the very end. With Sakuna gonna be up next. Got himself a trinket into a shockwave onto the monk by X spam, trying to see if he can avoid the monk as best as possible. Got himself full burst, big bleed, and everything available. And there's gonna be a charger after. I was about to say, like, maybe he's got himself more damage, but actually look at his cooldowns. Not too many. Not too many, although you do have some kind of a bleed build that I haven't seen in a long while. Got himself big rampages, disarm to follow by Sakuna with his when available. Has himself a Karma, may just want to be thinking about using it. Axis Spam better be extra careful. Got himself some Mexicans. Sakuna locking him down with a Fist of Fury as well as a Karma. Mad kicks to follow, but Sakuna still just feels like he's under pressure. Axis Spam is the one hanging in, but wait, hold on, do you just die to a Karma? Wait a second, oh, was that a rallying cry into a Karma? Oh, that is so rough. Torvus as well as Conan are the last two left camping out. At least either one of them are just gonna give him against an honor duel, yeah? 78% dampener, man. That is a long dampening game. This is a long one, man. That's rough. Torvus is trying to see if he can get himself maybe no, just letting him get the full reset. Damps at 8%. Dude, yeah, it is a pretty long one though. Lots of damps. I wonder why. Yeah, the traps make all the sense then, huh? The traps make all the sense. That's rough, man. That's rough. Sakuna at least giving himself a proper honor duel. Torvus being very generous here. With Sakuna coming into this one without a trinket yet, knows the win, no karma for a bit. So Torvus could ramp up with a big crusade, but Sakuna not out of the woods just yet. Immediately leg soup into full Fist of Fury. Torvus trying to see if he can build some resources. Not going to be able to get a lot of healing. So it's better use his defenses as soon as possible. Full stun of Sakuna. Trying to see if he can just rampage through him. Sakuna, unless you have a port right now to reposition. That's not going to do much for you. Trying to heal, you just got to buy yourself enough time until the karma. That's all you can really do. But Torvus still holding on to a bubble. Actually, I think for Sakuna, it just might be over. Unless this man somehow can just live long enough. Karma, blind to follow. Torvus will blessing of protection. Yeah, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing you can do. That is rough, man. That is rough. Man, that was a long one, actually. It's a really long patch. It's been a while since we got like an 80% dampening. What is this? Yeah, dude, honestly, I love me some fast games. When they're slow like this, I feel like it really does knock like energy out of me entirely. I can't be the only one, man, right? I can't be the only one that prefers like fast-paced, like action duels and everything. Damp hell. Yeah, it is. That's the reason why they call it dampening hell, man. Pink T-Rex always damped us to 100. If you think that was bad, seeing Pink T-Rex, I'm trying to remember Pink T-Rex. He was the Worgen, right? Pink T-Rex. Might have been, yeah. This is crazy. It is really, really long dampening, man. I forgot that hunters can do that. We don't see a lot of survival hunters in duels. Like, usually it's EU and usually it's my man Kiosko. Yesterday we got a couple of survivals. One of them went to super high dampening. The other not so much. A little bit, but not so much. They do a lot of damage, but yeah, outside of the cooldowns, just kind of like... They kind of... I think forced to play a slower game, I guess. Just trap after trap after trap. It is a lot of traps, man. You know what I mean? And it's just the fact that like you go from one to the other to the other. You just like, it's almost like red light, green light, and you have a lot of red lights or a lot of stop signs in front of you. You walk up, freezing trap. You gotta wait 6 seconds. You walk around, tar trap. You gotta wait 5 to 6 seconds. You got steel trap, 8 seconds. And then it's like by the time you come back, it's just another freezing trap. Oh, it is the worst. Like if it's a stun right after, and then the leap out of the way. Oh, it's a binding shot. It's actually a lot when you think about it. I'm not hating or anything, but it means it's just low-key crazy. It is kind of nuts. Like I don't know if there's another class besides like a mage just constantly pulling you, or like a warlock with fears, mortal calls, stuff like that. I think that's like the only class that you can just like chase after and never catch up to them. They just need one little pillar and all those obstacles in front of them. Unless you got like an immunity or cloak of shadows or something. I feel like it's so much like double worse inside of the dueling arena because you don't have like a healer who can like dispel you out of freezing trap or anything, or like, you know, stuff like that. Because it's just you versus the other guy, and it's just all this traps like forever, this minefield, and there's no real way to avoid it unless you go like the long way around the pillar, and even then it's just like, all right, you're taking twice as long to get around the pillar. I'm just gonna hang around the other side, and you never catch me. You know what I mean? It is rough. Oh man. Alrighty, are we done or are we playing? Okay, I think I have to be done, ma'am. I have to be done because I got a buddy of mine waiting. We were going to play some Baldur's Gate 3. I'm basically already late, so I don't want to make him wait too long, chat. That was fun. I'll join next week. We'll do more next week. We'll do more next week, especially depending if I'll be doing more Baldur's Gate sessions or not, because it looks like that's something I've been doing for 2 Saturdays now. Maybe that'll be like a regular thing. But since I got some homies waiting for me, I'm going to peel out for the night. I would have loved to hang around. Okay, kill me. Kill me, quick. You got a chance. I'm flying by. No? Okay. I guess not. That guy's always out here killing lobbies and really killing anybody he can. We'll call it for now, though. No problem, GG's. Thanks so much, Chicago. Thanks so much, Chilled, as well as Boris and everybody else that joined up, man. Super fun hanging out with all of you boys. Yeah, I would have hung around a little bit longer. Yesterday on EU, we hung around for like an hour and something a little bit extra. Today on NA, I was actually really enjoying these duels, except for some long ones, but overall I had a lot of fun. We'll do more next week, chat. Thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate ya. I'm gonna be playing Barbarian named Coden. No surprise there in BG3. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Dude. You gotta pick a good subclass. I guess like the plain one is fine, because then there's like the animal spirit, and then there's wild magic, where every time you rage, like random magic things happen around you, which is also kind of cool. But boys, thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate you. Wonderful, beautiful. Thanks so much for watching. I hope all of you enjoyed. I'll catch you guys all in the next stream. Alrighty, boys. You guys take it easy. We'll see you probably not tomorrow, but definitely Mondays. We'll try to get our weeklies out of the way. Alrighty, boys. Alrighty. Peace.
So how I used to be.